Megan Fox.
And Megan Fox has the story.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox writes at PJ Media.
Eat Tucker.
And that was your last.
Damn it, man. I cried for 2 days.
Megan, thank you very much for that.
So, I can explain the bed thing.
If you don't show up and vote, up your ass. I don't care if you're in the hospital. Crawl to the stake. Crawl there.
It's like Jesus going into the temple. He's like, I got a whip. Get out! Get out! The lovely and wonderful Megan Fox. Not that one.
Not that one. Not the weird one that drinks blood in his toe thumb.
Megan Fox.
Megan. And honestly, Megan, if you don't like it, I'm sorry.
She's the devil.
Megan.
Megan Fox.
Megan.
Megan.
Megan Fox.
I've been very nice to you, although I could probably maybe not be based on the way you have treated me, but I wouldn't do that.
You've never met a like me. You want to tangle? You want to go? Holy sh!
Too much cussing on this. I guess we didn't bleep it, so we got to turn it off. But it's
You pissed off the wrong woman.
oh my God, I have been assaulted, but Megan Fox runs wild on you, brother.
She's the devil.
Not for publication.
The story.
I'm Megan.
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 Megan Fox.
Mr.
Thank
Eckard,
you.
cheers.
Cheers.
Good morning, everyone. I am your host, Megan Fox, your medium smart journalist here to review all crazy things happening in the court world. I'm joined by IT goatee Brad over here, who is helping me out today, hanging out. Thank you, Brad, for being here, by the way. You've been here through this whole case, and holy crap. I have news, by the way, Brad. I have big news.
Go.
Nick Rekieta, the Pope, is not dead.
He isn't?
No, he's not dead.
He said
Nick
he had
Rekieta-
107-degree fever, so I figured he would be.
He is not dead. The reports of his death have been widely exaggerated, shall we say? The Pope is not dead. So everyone stand up and cheer. He has the flu. He's pretty sick, but he is not dead. He is still able to text, and he's good. So if you could stop the online celebrating, those of you who are celebrating his possible demise, I don't know what that's about, but geez, did I see some kind of gross tweets about that? Like, you know, if someone is sick and ill and hurt, and you are in any way celebrating that, I think you're a horse shit kind of person. So yeah, you can just, here's what you can do.
Go fuck yourself. But go fuck yourself.
All right. So he's good. He's good. He's all right. Nick Rekieta is going to be okay. He's going to recover. And oh shoot, I've got the heating pad on. I just went and got trigger point injections in my neck, which is why we couldn't do this at 10. But now I think this is too hot. It's making me too hot, unfortunately. But the neck feels a little bit better. It feels like maybe I should get ice. Maybe I should have done ice first.
How's the weather out in New York? Well,
I think the back of winter has been broken. I think I think it feels that way. It feels like winter is over. It's very rainy and muddy here, which is the first sign of spring. I'm starting to hear the running water off the mountains. People's drains are getting clogged up, so that means that the major part of winter is probably over. But you never really want to say that out loud, because the next thing you know, we'll have a blizzard. So we'll see. But we're supposed to be at the end of the 20-degree days after today. Today is supposed to be the last 20-degree day
Are you
for
sure
the
about that?
season. No. Why would I be sure about that?
So the reason I ask, so yesterday we had a 70-degree day in Michigan in February. So it was fantastic. After we picked our son up from daycare, we went to the park, had a wonderful time. He saw someone's Happy Meal and tried to go for it, so we had to pull him away, and he was quite unhappy about that. But we made it up to him and got him one for dinner. And then last night after your stream, I was watching some storms roll through Chicago, go over Lake Michigan, and there was a storm chaser who was following it all. And after about midnight or so, I decided to go to bed. Well, then we got woke up at 1 a.m. from a huge thunder crack. And then
I hate it when that happens and it makes you jump out of bed.
Yeah. And 20 miles to the west of us, there was actually a tornado drop down. And I was worried that the tornado warning was going to move into our area.
Well, I'm glad that it didn't, because tornadoes are really not fun. Good morning, Dr. Joe Corcoran. Look who's in the chat, guys. It's Dr. Goodhair. How are ya? And good morning, Mindful Craftsby Donna and Sarah Adams and Tamara Jane and Flux. There she is. And Squid Pro Quo and Angela Mullen, Sally Redmond, all you beautiful people, Helene T, Watcher, Slightly Neurotic. Thank you for being here. Geez, 400 of you here already. Please
MG Law.
MG Law, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope some of you are new subscribers to the channel, so that you can see some of the other stuff that we do here, like what we're going to do today, which is talk about the Tonsil Twins case again. We've got that 40-minute hearing. It was a status hearing, but there was so much more in it than what was reported on Arizona Central. And we are going to watch the entire thing today, thanks to Schnitzel Ninja. And I put the link to the uninterrupted video in the description of the show. Schnitzel Ninja is kind of a legend in the Reddit world. Schnitzel Ninja has been getting all of the documents from the court on this and has been providing them, to the public, and it's just awesome, Schnitzel. So thank you so much. So yeah, we're going to watch this today. We're going to watch this hearing. Brad, if you were to give a TLDR recap, this story, how would you do it? Go.
Well, a guy did some gummies, ended up getting a couple of days, and then she claimed that she's pregnant. So that's the quickest TLDR you could give for this case. But seriously, a moderately famous person, Clayton Eckard, former
moderately famous. That's like me, medium smart, moderately famous, medium smart.
Well, I mean, because there's famous, Johnny Depp famous, someone from U2 or something like that. But then there's just enough famous to where, the tabloids want to cover you, but you may not be front page. You might be like third or fourth page in.
Right.
So Clayton Eckard, former what do they call it, contestant?
Bachelor. He was the Bachelor on the ABC's The Bachelor. Yeah.
So, and then he goes into real estate, and this confused woman decides that she wants to do investment properties with him, and him doing gummies and them being together at night after. While talking about transactions, it's all weird up until that point, but some things under the covers happen, or well, I should say on the couch at this point. And
couch.
Yeah. And so then they go their separate ways. He has some post-nut clarity remorse and says, we probably shouldn't have done that. And then 5 days later, she goes, well, I might be pregnant now.
So. Dave Neal sighting. Got jaw-dropping new info coming. Well, Dave, you've got my number. Text me, bro. What is it? For God's sake, text me, bro. I watched your video this morning. I got almost all the way through it. It was very good. You hit on some of the things we're going to talk about today as well. All right. So where were we? Who's got the bingo card? We had a Dave Neal sighting already. We need the bingo card out. Who's got it? Does Locals have it? meganfox.locals.com. That's where all the fun memes are going to be today. And hopefully the bingo card, if somebody has gotten around to that. It's not there yet. You're falling down on the job, my meme monkeys.
Yeah. I asked for it half hour ago.
We asked for it several minutes ago, at least. All right, where were we? When did she take? So she just said, did you get to the point yet, the part yet where she tried to get him to sign a dating contract? Because that's really one of the most unbelievable.
No, we haven't even gotten to that point yet. I'm only 5 days past the blowies. So
okay.
So she tells him that she might be pregnant, and he's like, "Well, go take care of it, and then we don't have to worry about this." Well, she goes, "Well, I'll take care of it, but I'd like you to sign this document so that we can investigate our feelings for the next 2 weeks. And we may or may not have intercourse during these 2 weeks.
But if we did, you'd feel how tight I was. Oh, God.
Yeah. So she's like,
we're not making this up. That's literally in the email.
She literally says, I haven't been with anyone in 1.5 years, and if you just sleep with me, you will feel how tight I am and know that your children are inside of me, and also that I haven't been with anyone." So,
oh my God. So anyway, he says, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want anything to do with you. And if you have these babies or whatever, if you have babies, I'm not going to be a part of their life. She goes to the media, releases those texts, tries to make him look like an ass, goes to the Sun, goes to People, and she has so much privilege because she's a woman and it's the Me Too era that of all the press just believes her and paints him the villain. Then she takes him to court, drags him to court for a paternity plan, a parenting plan, which there's no babies. Yep. But so somehow she got into family court with no babies. Turns out we find out she's done this to 2 other men. Same story. Well, almost the same. And very similar stories. Dating contracts. Yeah, possibly. But we know of 2 other court cases that are in, we have the records of. I've been going over those on this channel called the Gillespie Files. We're still working our way through those, and we'll continue to do that as we go on. I did want to tell you there is breaking news in the Jeremy Hales legal case in Florida for What the Hales. The grudge judge, Judge McFeather. I forgot his name now because we've got so many nicknames for him. His name is Craig DeThomasis. He has now denied the 3rd motion to disqualify him. He has denied it this morning. I have the order. I have his order. It is not 2,000 words this time. It is only 3 pages. Only 3 pages, but it is filled with hysterical italics. There's a lot of italics. So I'm going to do a dramatic reading of that, but not on this stream. I'm going to make it a separate stream, and I don't know when. It's either going to be later today or it'll be tomorrow, because I do still have to do the podcast today. Fox Den Daily, make sure you're following it on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and anywhere else. I found out that Google shut down its podcasting. It's going to be on YouTube now. That's why we couldn't find it. That's why I couldn't set it up on Google. There's not going to be any podcasting on Google anymore. They're just rolling it into YouTube, which I am not going to put my podcast on YouTube, because if anything ever happens to my YouTube channel, because they hate me, they will then delete my podcast too, because it would be connected to my YouTube. And I'm not going to marry those two. Absolutely not. So, all right. Anyway, we finally get through to like November. She's still claiming in court that she is 100% pregnant, showing up in court wearing what looks like a moon bump, like a fake belly, adjusting it, putting it over one boob, looks insane. She doesn't know that she's on a live stream. No idea that it's being live streamed to the internet. And she's trying to tell them, I'm 100% pregnant. I am 100% pregnant with his twins. And then within like a week and a half, files a motion saying, I want to dismiss this whole thing.
Not a week and a half. 2 months later, she files and says that she's no longer pregnant.
Okay, it was December 27th. So it was like 4 weeks later. Like 4 weeks later, she files a motion and says she's not pregnant anymore. It might be less than.
So the hearing was November 2nd. And then according to the hearing that we're about to watch, they said a couple weeks later is when she found out that she was no longer carrying, supposedly. And then
Something
4
like
weeks
that.
later, she files the motion. But she could have told opposing counsel anytime during those 4 weeks that she's no longer pregnant, but decided no.
And Clayton's attorney, Greg Woodnick, who is an awesome attorney. He's been practicing law in Arizona for over 20 years. He is a law professor. He teaches ethics in law. He's a very good litigator. He's a even better writer. His motions are so much fun to read. They're so good. He files a motion saying, "Oh, no, you don't," a response to her motion to dismiss. And he says, "Oh, no, you dragged him into this courtroom. We're going to finish this, and you're going to show us proof of paternity. You're going to show us proof. We are filing now for non-paternity." And so now that brings us up to date. That brings us up to the status hearing that was set to decide how this case is going, because everybody was fighting. She's trying to dismiss the case. He's saying, "No, we need to stay here." Then the plaintiff or the defendant, he put in another motion that said, "I need more time to try this case. So we need to put it out a little bit more because she didn't show up for her deposition. She didn't give us any discovery. We need more time to collect these things. She needs to give us a HIPAA release so we can get these medical records from the doctors." So this status hearing that we're about to watch is what is going to be done about all these motions. So let's pull it up and get started. Now let me make sure that I have the volume.
Probably going to want to boost it because it was
all right.
low.
If we boost the volume, I'm just telling you now, Brad and I might get very loud. So I'm going to boost the court volume, but don't complain that we're loud. There's nothing I can do about that. Now, I will try to turn my microphone down a bit, and we'll try to talk quietly. All right. Interestingly enough, there's a hot mic at her table.
Yeah, Dave mentioned that, and I was...
Listen carefully.
Oh, it's different.
He said, "Oh, it's different?" It sounded like she said, "Oh, it's so calm." And he said, "It always sucks when you have to go to the same place." I can't really tell what she said, though, but he said, "It always sucks when you have to go to the same place." Like, are they flirting?
I don't think so, but it's funny. Clayton and Woodnick are just like completely off in their own worlds, and
these two are having like a little chat, a little chit chat. All right, here we go.
California, it's nice because I can just drive. Yeah.
It's in California. It's places that I can just drive. I thought I heard she couldn't drive because of certain medications and epilepsy.
Dave said that she supposedly, because of her epilepsy, was not allowed to drive, but she's claiming that she can go to California, which is like, what, 4 or 5 hours?
Yeah, strange.
Yeah, the weather's always good.
The weather's always good. I like this rubbing the head motion. That's my thumbnail. It's Corey with his hand over his face. Like, damn it, I really should have Googled this case before I took it.
Especially in the summer. Yeah. Can I travel for 2 months? Exactly.
All right. I would like you to pay attention to the way the judge handles this case in comparison to what we watched yesterday in the Levy County case with the grudge judge. Listen to the difference of how this judge runs her courtroom.
Please. Good morning, everyone. This is the time set in FC 2023-052-114. Appearances, please. Beginning first with Petitioner's Counsel.
Morning, Your Honor. Corey Keith appearing on behalf of Petitioner Laura Owens. Myself and client are both present, appearing in person.
Good morning to you both, and from the respondent.
Good morning, Judge. Greg Woodnick. I've got Clayton Eckard with me, and my associate Isabel Ranny is behind me.
Good morning to all three of you. All right, this is the time set for status conference. As the parties both know, a motion to continue was filed. Mr. Woodnick, that was your motion, so I'll allow you to go first.
Judge, thank you. As the court is aware.
You mean the judge isn't going to launch into a 12-minute soliloquy about all the things she hates about one of the attorneys?
Nope.
That took her 30 seconds. That's the way that you're supposed to behave as a judge, by the way. The grudge judge should be watching this judge.
She reminds me of a less pompous judge from the Waukesha case.
Oh, the Waukesha case?
Yeah.
What was her name? We used to call her Judge Mommy. I don't
Yeah.
remember her name though.
Where
All right.
in the meetings we have zero disclosure. I don't think zero is an understatement. I did speak with counsel in the hallway. He indicated that disclosure was forthcoming,
Oro.
maybe as soon as later this week. I'll believe it when I see it, but in any event, we are not prepared to go to trial next week on any of the remaining
I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah.
issues because we have nothing. I'm asking the court to reset the trial for 45, 60 days, whatever the court's availability is. And I'm asking the court to give us 2 hours. Petitioner invoked Rule 2. I'm stuck with it. And I intend to present a case that has foundation for evidence, and her deposition, I think, is scheduled for March 1st if she appears, as Your Honor is aware.
Friday. We get the deposition Friday.
If she appears. I like that he put if she appears there. If she appears. Because she didn't appear last time.
Petitioner failed to appear at her first deposition setting without leave of court. So I've got to deal with that as well. So we're asking the court just to reset the trial in a couple of months, and hopefully beginning today, there's discovery compliance. And the issues of attorney's fees and sanctions, I think, have to abide trial. And I think that's where we are from our perspective.
Okay, and what?
Okay, guys, I know the court audio is low. I have it boosted to 300%. Please put headphones in. Headphones will help you hear better. If you're listening on just your phone or whatever without headphones, you're doing yourself no favors. Put headphones in and you will hear it, okay? Because I can hear it just fine with headphones in.
Time on March 1st, counsel?
Great question, Judge. 8 a.m. this morning, my office.
All right, counsel?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, we're not opposing the motion to continue the trial. We're in agreement with the need for the continuance on the trial. I did want to address, we received a ruling regarding our motion for confidentiality this morning. There has been new evidence.
So pause it real quick.
That were made to her on.
Now, the interesting thing about this is he says we're fine with the continuance. Now, if they were trying to get everything dismissed because the pregnancy is no longer viable, happening, whatnot, why would you not be pushing to get this wrapped up?
Because I think because he knows the judge has already said, indicated she's not doing it. She's not dropping it. So he's going to have to, they're going to have to be fine with it. And I think that his client is always happy with more time to waste.
Yeah, I guess.
That's her MO, is to waste these men's time in court, drag it out as long as possible, cause them an extreme amount of stress and, emotional damage.
Right.
Emotional damage.
All right. Now he's talking about there is new evidence, threats to my client's life. Let's hear about that.
Facebook since the pleading practice regarding the motion practice regarding that motion for confidentiality. So I did want to have the opportunity to address that with the court, assuming that the court's position still remains the same with regards to that motion. I did indicate to Mr. Woodnick we will have discovery forthcoming by the end of the week with relation to my client's pregnancy records. Discovery has been requested far outside of the scope of what I believe is appropriate. And so I was hoping to be able to address that with the court as well today.
All right. The death threats, if you are new to this story, the alleged death threats on Facebook came from one account that is clearly a fake account with the name Stella Chen on it. That account
was
posted...
that the death threats or was that just the doxing?
No, that was the death threats. The death threat was something like, here's where she lives, and put up an address, but it was the wrong address. And somebody should go shoot her or something like that is what it said. I think it said somebody should go and do this. So not a good thing to do. Don't put death. Nobody should be, issuing death threats. But what's bizarre about it is that it stayed up on Facebook so long, and we are talking, oh, my sister's in the chat. Steph, hi. What are you doing? She's probably busy working. Love you.
Writing motions and listening to us.
Yeah, she could be driving right now. But anyway, this alleged death threat came from one Facebook account that was really, it's obviously a fake account. Now, I have my suspicions that it's actually Laura Owens herself doing it. especially because Laura's really good at getting stuff taken down offline. I mean, she got one of my videos yeeted off of YouTube. I won that one, but I got it back up. She got a Reddit page deleted several times. She got a couple other Reddit pages deleted. She's really good at getting people to take down articles and stuff. I mean, but this one particular Facebook post that had this death threat in it, it was up for weeks. We were all reporting it as, harassment, and it didn't get taken down.
Mm-hmm.
So she didn't contact Facebook to take it down, or Facebook just wouldn't. That makes no sense. Anyway, she called the police on that one, but she wasn't that worried about it because when the police called her back, it rang and rang. She didn't answer her phone. They couldn't leave a message, and they closed the case.
And we've listened to those call recordings, and it sounds like she's ordering a pizza. It doesn't sound like she's
like, "Hi, I would like to report a death threat, please. Yes, I would like extra soy sauce with that." It's bizarre. It's bizarre. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll deal with the motion to continue first, then we'll deal with re-urging on the confidentiality and the discovery. Any final thoughts, Mr. Woodnick?
No, I certainly have argument on all of the confidentiality issues, and I think Your Honor ruled on it, but I'll save those for later this morning.
All right. All right. The court will grant the motion to continue. The court is going to vacate the hearing. I believe we had set for the 27th. Yes, we're going to vacate the evidentiary hearing set February 27th at 4 p.m. The court will grant the request to extend the hearing time to 2 hours. I wish I could accommodate 45 to 60 days. We're setting out much further than that, which I apologize for. But Layla, what's our first available 2-hour setting?
It's going to be June 10th, Your Honor, at 8:45.
All right, everyone check your calendar and see if that works. That would be.
Oh, I've checked my calendar. Works for me. Works for me.
So while they're discussing scheduling, you're going to hear a bunch of booping. That's people that are attempting to join the Teams call. And it's going to be very distracting for the first 5 minutes or so. And even Greg Woodnick says that it's distracting him, but then it basically stops.
Yeah, but I want to tell the court, if in case anyone from the Maricopa County Court is listening, that is a Zoom setting that you can fix. So you can fix it so that there are no audible sounds when people join or leave the call. So somebody needs to go into your settings and set that properly, because
this is Teams, not Zoom.
Or Teams. Okay, Teams. I'm sure that Teams has the same sort of thing, right? Right, Brad?
No, so
it doesn't.
Unfortunately, it doesn't. The problem is that what that is it's letting people in the call know that someone is waiting to join. Because instead of just letting everyone jump in, they have to be admitted.
Oh, that's a really bad design for court. They shouldn't use Teams for court then, because that's way too. It's way too. They should just switch over to Zoom, because Zoom can be silent.
Yeah, the problem is Zoom costs money, whereas Teams comes with their Office 365 and makes it really easy for them to not have to spend extra money.
All right, so this is a good moment to share with you that I have a Give, Send, Go set up for me to pay for my plane ticket out to Arizona for June 10th. I'm dropping the link in the chat. If you feel like helping me get to Arizona so I can cover this trial live and in person, this is how to do it. All I need is a plane ticket. It's going to be about $600. And then I can stay with my parents. I don't need a hotel. I don't need a car. I'll have all those things. And, oh, right.
And the moon bump.
And the moon bump. Don't forget the moon bump. I'm going to haul all my stuff down there. Brad's going to be taking care of this channel, making it, he'll be live streaming so I can call in and give live reports on what's going on in the trial. It's going to be a great time. Dave Neal will be there. I think Reality Steve might be planning to go, and there will be some great content. Plus, we'll get bonus parent content. My parents, they're so freaking funny. Bonus dad content, hanging out with my parents. They're really excited that I'm coming, by the way. They're very happy about that.
I imagine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Steph, I'm going out June 10th. June 10th, I'm going. So show up with me. She says, get some funds for my flight. What will your parents think of Megan wearing a moon bump? My father will laugh. On-site legal counsel. Stephanie, seriously, please do it. Please do it. This would be hilarious. We will go. We will be court watchers on June 10th, and we'll be reporting everything we see going on at this does each side get 1 hour or does each side get 2 hours? Is this a 4-hour total or a 2-hour total?
I think it's 2-hour total because
it really needs to be longer than
it,
that.
it really does, which is the funny thing.
Because I
And
can't even give a TLDR description of this under an hour.
yeah, and the good thing is we should get Recovery Attic having the pool access, so we should be able to live stream what's going on inside, and then we can get the even more juicy details from your immediate viewing.
We can also, if for some reason Recovery Addict can't do it or can't get there, I think we can put in a request for the court to live stream it because they normally do live stream it. She
Right.
put in a request to make them stop doing that. But I think at this point, now that there's so much media interest, I think the court should reverse that and not give in to her whims about, oh, I don't want it live streamed. You know,
Yeah.
that's not okay. The court normally live streams this, and we should make them go back to doing that. Oh yeah, the parent content will be outstanding. Of course, we promise you. We will film my mom and dad doing hilarious things.
You can
Literally
make what was that dish that you made when you were at Steph's house?
The cranberry thing.
It might have been.
We can make food too. Yeah, we can do that. Absolutely. I'm gonna host a pool party. What?
Dr. Joe says stories like IT Goatee summary make me so glad that Triple G said yes all those years ago.
Oh, I know, Dr. Joe, you do not want to be single, sir. It's a very scary thing to be these days. You do not want to be single. I am so thrilled that he's here this morning, by the way. Love you, Dr. Joe. Was it the Jell-O thing you were thinking of?
Maybe. You made a bunch of stuff. It was a fun stream of you guys cooking.
Thanksgiving. It was probably Thanksgiving. We were doing Thanksgiving stuff. Let's see. In Rumble needs the clickety click, the give send go. Here you go. So we're getting there. We're up to $230. So this is great. And Stephanie says if you pitch an extra so I can send her, she'll come with. So that would be great. What is a ticket? Stephanie, what's a ticket from Maryland? It can't be as much as it costs me. It's probably less for you. What is it?
BWI to Scottsdale or?
Yeah, BWI to Scottsdale is probably less than what I pay because I can't get anywhere from Rochester without going on like a bus and a donkey. And there's always like a loose chicken around. It's like a third world country here.
We can shove her on Spirit for $195.
Oh, not bad. Spirit. But then she won't get there in time because Spirit will get lost somewhere. $500? Are you serious?
No.
What airline are you riding? Doesn't Southwest go out of BWI?
That's their hub. That's their biggest airport.
Southwest has to have something. Well, we're not doing short notice right now, Stephanie. We're doing long notice. This is June. She says, "I will not fly on Spirit." I don't blame you. I won't either.
But Phoenix or Tucson?
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Phoenix. It's definitely Phoenix.
9th through, what do you think, the 12th?
I'm going the 8th through the 12th. So just do that. Do the 8th through the 12th so that we can combine our flights.
Want to getaways for $284.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
All right. So like $300. All right. Cool. All right. Here we go. Let's continue on.
Council?
Make it work, Judge.
Or does that work for you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we'll set that then for June 10th at 8:45. Now, with regards to the re-urging of the confidentiality motion, Council?
Your Honor, my client received Facebook messages on February 7th. For not to read them out loud, I did show them to opposing counsel. I'm happy to show them to Your Honor as well. The conduct has just gotten increasingly more concerning from the public. It almost appears to be some sort of obsession with this case.
Stop it, Corey. Corey, let me tell you why there's an obsession with this case. 1, the public has a right to be obsessed with justice. 2, the public is pissed because they have watched this woman defame this man all over the place with no consequences. And she has done it 2 other times before and gotten away with it. And the public is now interested in justice. The administration of justice is what the public is obsessed with. And if you have a problem with that as a member of the bar, then, sir, you should rethink your career, because the public loves the law. The public wants people to be held accountable to the law. And this one has slipped under the radar for far too long. The obsession is with justice, sir, not with anything else to do with this case. My God.
See,
what is he talking about?
The funny thing is this woman has posted literally every conversation that she's had that makes her look good. You would think that they would have an entire like 6-page document of all of these supposed threats that are being made against her, but there's been no evidence presented or filed that says that she's actually receiving threats, just his claims that she's receiving them.
And then her, phone calls to police where she doesn't even follow up, and they close the case. Sarah Adams, my homo, in the chat says 38,000 equals Megan fire. Yeah. Thank you for all the subs, by the way, new subscribers. It's just amazing. And I hope that all of you new subscribers, I hope that you really enjoy this channel and what we do here. I hope that that I can provide you with some good content. All right. Finally, Freed, thanks for the super chat, says Jane is an energy vampire. I feel that. I feel that she is actually sucking my energy dry at times. Like, she's exhausting. Exhausting is the word that I have used over and over again about her. Exhausting. If those of you who don't know who Jane is Laura Owens. A lot of other channels call her Jane Doe because of how litigious she is. I'm not worried about it because I know the law and I'm allowed to use her name. It's in public filings. She came forward to the press. She writes articles under her own name. She can't stop me from using her name. Miss Erica, thanks for the super chat, says June 10th is my twin son's birthday, so I'm looking at it as a good sign for Clayton. Aw, mama of real twins. Happy birthday to those kids. Are they? Yeah, you said sons, boys. Happy birthday to the boys early. And yes, that does seem like a good sign. I love it. Natasha, thanks for the super chat, says, Megan, in addition to the moon bump, you should wear a Monster Energy drink shirt. Now, I'm going into the courtroom as a journalist. So I am going to sit very quietly and not draw attention to myself. I'm going to sit and try not to make any faces and try not to react to anything, because courtroom decorum is a very big thing. It's very real. And I have to be careful. It's very hard, actually, to
say, don't lie to us. We know that there's going to be all kinds of gasping and everything.
Well, I will tell you that when I covered this Cynthia Abzug case and we were in that trial in Colorado, it was so outrageous. There were times when we were gasping and I was trying to keep it in. And it was really emotionally I was overwrought. But I will tell you that that kind of thing can affect the jury. And so you have to be really careful. And we were, I was after that happened, I separated myself from the group. I went and sat in a corner by myself so that I wouldn't be tempted because I just was like, no, I can't be, no one can write that like she was acting up in a courtroom. That would be bad. But yeah, there will not be any giggles from me in the courtroom. I guarantee it. I will be shutting my mouth and writing. I will just be taking notes is all I will be doing.
The good thing is there is no jury in this. It's just the judge making determinations. So
yeah, and if you are going into court ever, you have to understand that the judge can absolutely kick you out for making any noise, for making even facial expressions that if the judge sees and finds distracting, you're out. No costumes, no protesting, none of that inside the courtroom. You can do all of that outside the courtroom. You can go outside and protest and wear t-shirts and do anything you want. But inside the courtroom, no trolling, nothing, zero. So yeah. When you have a desire to act out, you do what Corey tells his client to do, write on your notepad. Yeah. Stephanie, we cannot bring dad into court. No. No.
It's going to be bad enough you two being together. You get the three of you together. Oh, the hell's breaking loose.
He cannot be there. He cannot be there. And Stephanie, you can't look at me either. If you look at me, I'll lose it. So do not look at me either, because you and your eyebrows will have me rolling on the floor. My sister has this eyebrow thing that she does that I can't do. I've never been able to move one eyebrow independently of the other one, but Stephanie can make one of her eyebrows go like way up, and every time she does it, I flip out and laugh hysterically. Don't you dare look at me with that eyebrow, Stephanie. Don't you dare. Sarah says look at her the whole time.
My wife is the same way. She can't hold it in for nothing.
Stephanie, we can't bring him into a courtroom. He won't behave. No, he cannot come. We can film him afterwards. He can watch on the stream like everyone else. All right, here we go.
And I think my client, rightfully so, has been nervous to participate in things like the deposition or
bullshit,
giving up her privileged medical records because of this increasingly concerning conduct.
Bullshit.
She put all of the medical records that she gave to the defendant on a Dropbox and shared it with the media. She already put her medical records out in public. And I do not believe that she has sent anything else or new to the defense since then. Just saying, this woman put all of her alleged medical records on a Dropbox. So she cannot now claim, oh, it's private information.
Governor, can I approach him?
Mr. Woodnick, you've seen these?
Sure.
Your Honor, I know that our reply mentioned voicemails and things of that nature that my client had received. Nothing directly threatening her life at that point, but obviously after the motions and reply were filed, we started to receive these messages, and so she's just concerned that things are going to continue to progress.
Pause it real quick. So Steph asks, do the records show any evidence of pregnancy? We'll get to that. It's actually brought up here, and there's something that I picked up that I want to talk about. So hold with us, please.
Yeah. The short answer is no. But it is a little more complicated. Look at Greg. He's ready to go.
And Your Honor, I'll just note as well, the person who's referenced underneath the comment that was made is my client's mother. And then I think they're trying to send over her identifying information as well. Some sort of insinuation that they know where she lives and things of that nature.
Except it was the wrong address. So, nope. Didn't know where she lived. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine, you remember the demonstrations that they did wearing the pink vagina hats?
Yeah, the pussy hats. Yes.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny if everyone went to the courthouses with boat bubs?
And like I said, you can do that outside, not inside the courtroom. Please, people. Court to court. This is one of the things, though, that people do have to be very careful about, because like the Johnny Depp trial, became this, like, they call it a circus, and they use the public behaving badly as an excuse not to have cameras in the courtroom. And that's what we have to be careful about. Like do you remember the woman at the Johnny Depp trial who stood up in the middle of the trial screaming, I have your baby, or some nonsense at Johnny?
I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, she did. And they cut the feed real quick, and then they got her out of there.
Yeah.
But she had stood up and was screaming, she's just crazy. So the public needs to be aware that one of the things that will kill LawTube totally is to piss off judges in these cases that we're watching. And so if anyone is actually going to go to the trials, you must observe court behavior all the time. Court decorum, be quiet, sit in your seat, do not react, try not to be emotional, do not clap. There is no clapping, there is no nothing. Do all of that outside. Like, have your party outside, you can tailgate outside, but when you go in, behave yourself, because we do not need any more excuses for these people to hide what they do, right?
And the other thing is, this is a family courtroom. Look at how many benches there are. There is literally 2 rows and like 6 chairs there. There's not going to be enough room for a ton of people in this court unless they change
they may have to change courtrooms. Or they could put the feed into another room. Sometimes they do that, like have an overflow room. But yeah, I believe they're gonna need a bigger courtroom. I think.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be interesting.
Council response?
Judge, a couple of things. Number one, in correspondence to Mr. Keith, I asked for some of the foundational information from that. Whoever wrote what they wrote on that allegedly to Miss Owens is not my client. He didn't do it. He's not involved in it. So I appreciate that that's not the suggestion here. Whoever wrote that, it's inappropriate, but certainly not a reason to enter confidentiality orders or any sort of sealing,
Right.
which I assume is going to be Mother's next.
All right, these are the bonging noises that are coming up.
And I think that the First Amendment doesn't matter.
Okay, what he said was these are both public figures, and the First Amendment, doesn't allow for you to close the hearing because she says she's getting these threats.
Anyone who might be mind, please mute your phone or your tablet. Go ahead, counsel.
She thinks it's people's phones, but it's not.
Remute.
I'm wondering how people got so much the court feed, because we didn't have access to it.
Well, of course, I never looked though. I should have looked, but I didn't look. So maybe it's there, because if you go, so Maricopa County has this daily feed of what's on the docket today. Like, you can't find it for earlier, but every day there's a live one, and whatever is being broadcast is linked. And I didn't check that day to actually see if it was there. So maybe it was, and we just
checked and it said in person. So if it was,
so I wonder how they got the call in. It seems like the public got a hold of it because it starts to get crazy with the binging.
Right.
And the bonging. Chat, I cannot increase the volume. I have it boosted to 300%. It is put headphones in. If you put headphones in, you can hear it. Greg's saying, my ADD does not do well with these noises, because he's trying to make his argument and the noises are bothering him. Yeah, me too. It stops in a couple minutes.
Thank you.
The only thing we can do is go for ASMR stream.
My client wasn't behind whatever that text was. Frankly, there's a level of incredulity regarding that. I'm not so sure that text is actually real, and it wasn't generated to create an argument to seal or for the confidentiality issue. I can tell Your Honor that we're going to treat Ms. Owens as if she like them. In this case, it's now 7 months along, as we are supposed to.
Unlike Laura Owens.
Just like I'm going to treat her as we're supposed to when I depose her in 2 weeks. But I certainly don't think that some random Bachelor fan maybe put a really inappropriate text to Miss Owens maybe is a warrant for the court to do anything other than remind everyone to act professionally, which has always been my intention.
Thank you. Final thoughts?
I agree with Mr. Woodnick in part. This isn't his client, in my opinion, that's making these statements. However, when you couple the statements that are being made that appear to be getting progressively worse with the instances that were cited in our reply, the civil welfare checks that were sent to her home, the calls to her personal cell phone, when you couple all of these things together and look at the fact that they're getting progressively worse, and my client is now being essentially compelled to produce documents pertaining to her medical history, we don't anticipate this getting better, Your Honor. And my concern is that as this continues to get worse, we start to continue to talk about the safety of the parties involved. I understand.
You know how it will get better? Just admit what you did, Laura. Admit that you made it up, and everyone will move on with our lives and find new cases to cover, like What the Hales in Florida. I would really like to devote some more time to that because a lot of you want to hear about it. So can we get this over with already, please?
Right.
You want us to move on? It's that simple. It is that simple. Admit what you did. Stop it, stop it, stop it. And we will go away. That's all we need. Guys, I'm sorry about the volume. Court audio always sucks.
Yes, it does.
It always sucks. Yes, Stephanie said if she's worried about her safety, she should stop telling outrageous lies about people. That's right.
Go figure.
We're talking about public figures to an extent. My client has taken a significant step back. I don't know if, in my opinion, I would classify her as a public figure. She maybe is making statements now to.
Oh, no.
She's a public figure.
She's a public figure, Corey. She wrote it in her own description of who she is. She is a well-known podcaster and broadcaster and a public figure on Instagram. Sorry, ma'am. You don't get to take a step back and become a non-public figure. And she didn't step back. She's writing articles on Medium every other day.
And she's a well-known TEDx broadcaster.
Yeah, well known. All right, Rec is saying the audio was fine on Dave and Law Talk with Mike's channels. Well, I'm using the exact same video they were using. The volume is all the way up. Brad, do you want to maybe try it and see if the volume is better on your side?
I can.
Here, I will put the link in the chat for you. I don't think there should be any difference between, it's the volume we have is the volume on the video. We are at 9:10.
Yep. 9 there.
So we'll let Brad share it, and maybe it'll sound better on his. But I don't know. Do you have a volume booster?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So Megan, what hairstyles are you planning for the trial? You'll just have to tune in to find out.
All up to.
As a public figure, she maybe is making statements now to try to defend herself and defend her name. But, Your Honor, my concern is that if this continues to
turn the
worsen,
caps on too,
and like I stated
or the
in my
captions.
response, we don't know what state it's going to get to.
See,
We also
that's
have
worse for me.
witnesses that are afraid to come forward.
Yeah.
To
I can only
testify on
hear
my
it through
client's
one
behalf
ear
because
now.
They're afraid of what's happening to my client and her family. And so for those reasons, we believe that it's worth at least requesting that the court reconsider the ruling on the motion.
Does that sound better or worse to you guys?
Thank you. Okay, the motion.
Yeah,
to
this sounds
reconsider
better
is
to
denied.
me
However, we will have
because I'm
evidence
hearing
to
it directly, but
reflect that
StreamYard is messing with the
Arizona,
audio
ARS
levels.
Supreme Court ruling 122 is in effect, meaning all media requests must be through the Maricopa County Superior Court. There are statutory requirements that include using audio only for witnesses, fuzzying people's face out, things like that, that could give some assurances of either anonymity or whatever else may become an issue. I agree the court has absolutely no control over what people post online. It is absolutely inappropriate to threaten people generally. So the court doesn't condone that behavior. However, I don't think at this point it rises to the level of designating anything confidential. So I'm going to affirm my prior ruling on that, recognizing that there may be evidence presented at trial that will require certain exhibits be deemed confidential because of their medical nature or addresses or other things. So the parties need to be prepared to tell me which exhibits at trial need to be designated as confidential, and I'm more than happy to do that. Now, counsel, you also said there was an issue with discovery.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, my client understands the court likely in need, based on the recent ruling, for her to disclose things like her medical records pertaining to the pregnancy. It's been mentioned in the pleadings that opposing counsel has requested that she sign HIPAA releases. Opposing counsel has also sent requests for production of documents. Those HIPAA releases request 5 years of her medical records. Under the recent Como ruling back in 2022, we don't believe that that's appropriate. We believe and are asking the court to.
So they keep mentioning this Como ruling, and we don't know what it is. It has something to do with Arizona's court system that they're bringing in as precedent for reasons why they believe that there shouldn't be.
It's a discovery
Yeah.
Rule. So basically, it's to stop a fishing expedition that doesn't have anything to do with this case. But this case is all about her medical history. So there's no way a judge is going to be like, yeah, that's a fishing expedition. No.
It's the difference is like saying, I want all documents that she's ever produced for the past 5 years, but Greg Wignett in his request for discovery says we want any and all records for substance abuse history, domestic violence history, and any documents related to the pregnancies going back to 2021.
And actually, he only asked for 2021, and she gave him an extra year. She gives him an extra year, which is unbelievable. So the judge really does want to know what's going on here. Laura has piqued the interest of this judge, unfortunately for her. And the judge is going to get to the bottom of it.
While she should comply with requests for her medical records, it should be pertaining to the pregnancy, the only issue that's outstanding in this case. And on that note, Your Honor, there were two rulings on my client's previous motion to dismiss, one which granted in part and left open the issues of attorney's fees and sanctions, and one which I received yesterday, which just outright denied the motion. And so I just wanted to make sure that we were still only talking about attorney's fees and sanctions. And if that is the case, I believe that my client's medical history pertaining to whether or not she was pregnant in this matter is what would be appropriate and relevant for the court to have testimony on at the upcoming trial.
Okay.
So this is the interesting thing, and this really boggled my mind when I was looking through these court documents. Is initially there was a filing or a ruling that said because Laura Owens is no longer pregnant, the case is dismissed, but they were going to leave it open for attorney's fees and sanctions. And then a week later or so, they said, nope, we are denying that previous motion. So the judge must have done either additional research or something and said, wow, this is really a clusterfuck and needs to be continued to be looked at, not just for attorney's fees and sanctions, but just in general.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently the Hales case is blowing up because people are really...
The Hales were scheduled to be in court today at 1 p.m. anyway. Are you saying they got called into a special hearing earlier than that? They were scheduled to be there at 1. We do not know if they will. Well, I'll keep my email open in case my source gives me something. I'll open my email. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure out what's going on. And believe me, we'll get it to you as soon as we know. As soon as we know anything. All right, go ahead. You can play it.
Before I get to you, counsel, and then obviously you'll have final thoughts to go back to that. The court's intention was to deny the motion to dismiss at this time. So that's the ruling that stands. Mr. Woodman?
Judge, I appreciate the Como decision, and I appreciate Mr. Keith's argument. The problem is the nexus of our Rule 26 issue, which is that the entire action was filed in bad faith, is not a fishing expedition under Como. Como was designed to stop parties from fishing expeditions. That's not it. We are looking very specifically for the mental health and medical records that would explain why someone would fabricate a pregnancy, why someone would appear in court in front of Judge Gail Ketsis with a 24-week abdomen, tell Judge Gail Ketsis that they were pregnant, and then magically the babies are gone. And I think in order for us to do that, we have a right to get the relevant mental health records and the relevant medical records. And I also remind the court that that does include the fact, as we've pled here, that there's a history of the fabricating behavior. That's actually the nexus of our Rule 26 motion. For Rule 26, which, to make a clear record, is really Arizona Family Court adopting Rule 11, Civil Rule 11, not Mental Health Rule 11, but Civil Rule 11. And it addresses the propriety of filings and the propriety of signing filings. Filings that were signed by Ms. Owens directly. And she filed them, and then she filed multiple filings after that. And every single one of those filings made claims and assertions that this court has an absolute authority over. In order for us to defend or produce an argument regarding Rule 26, we need to have those records. We will treat them appropriately. They are not going to be publicly shared for any that we have any intention of doing at this point, but it's going to be part of a very public proceeding because Ms. Owens, as recently as 4 days ago or 3 days ago, published an article about these very issues. She's made it. She's the one who went to the Sun tabloid claiming not just that she was pregnant by Mr. Eckard, Judge, but that she was pregnant with twins and posted a visual of the twins and she was pregnant.
Pause.
All the discovery.
Pause, Brad. He's holding up the sonogram.
Yeah, it's
He's holding, I missed that the first time around. Go
Mhm.
back a little. He's holding up the sonogram. She posted images. She showed images that she was pregnant.
Twins that she
But we still haven't got any verification from these doctors to say that she actually is or was pregnant. This is unbelievable. It really is. It's, oh my God, I love this. Okay, sorry, keep going.
she was pregnant with. We have a right to all of the discovery relevant to that for the attorney's fees issue, for the sanctions issue, and for the integrity of Title 25 and the mud that Mr. Eckard's been dragged through. I'm not interested in her childhood trauma. That's not relevant here.
So the interesting thing is, Greg is such a fantastic attorney because everything that Greg talks or mentions about either has case precedent, a Arizona family court rule talking about it, or some other kind of statute based on everything that he's requesting. Whereas Corey feels like he's just going off the cuff and just saying, no, we really don't think that should be appropriate, Judge, and then just basically leaves it at that.
Yeah, Greg really is a good attorney. It's fun to watch a good attorney. He doesn't miss a beat here either. He has an answer for every single one of her attorney's claims. And he is not going to sit down and not fight for Clayton. And I love that about him. I just love that about him.
Dr. Joe asked, did he say 24-week twins? 24-week twins are viable newborns.
Yeah.
Nearly 100% of the time. And
Joe, here's what she was doing. She claimed she was 24 weeks, 100%, 24 weeks pregnant with twins on November 2nd. After that, her new story, and you're going to hear him say it. Her new story now is that she must have lost them sometime before then, maybe 1 to 2 months before then, and didn't know it. Now, Dr. Joe Corcoran, for those of you who don't know, he was an OBGYN for many years before he retired to do administration, hospital administration. He knows that this is a bunch of bullshit. You cannot not know you miscarried. At that point, what, 20, 21-week-old twins? There are bodies. They don't reabsorb into your body. There would be massive amounts of bleeding. You would have to go to the hospital. You would have to be induced into labor. There would have to be, there are,
if you're
and
carrying,
you need a fetal death certificate in Arizona after 20 weeks.
Yeah, so the story that they've come up with is just enough outside of the window to where they haven't produced fetal death certificates and believe that they don't need to. So, because had they have continued with the assertion that they somehow miscarried, they would have had to have produced it. And by not producing it, even though they said they have medical records from physicians that were attending her in mid-November that quote unquote diagnosed the miscarriage, they're gonna be like, well, then something needs to happen because either she has a somehow long-standing case of sepsis that she's getting no symptoms for because they would be still
if
inside
the babies
of her.
died inside of her and there was no bleeding or whatnot, she would be getting very, very sick from infection very quickly. You couldn't live like that for a week, let alone 2, 3, 4. That's insane. Sepsis would have killed her. There's no way that there aren't medical records. If this happened, there have to be a hospitalization. Dr. Joe, have you ever heard of anyone to miscarry or to have a stillbirth at 20 weeks or even 19 weeks and not have to go to the hospital?
This is the only story, and props on Corey Keith because they found a story that would be semi-plausible enough to be able to get around the fetal death certificates. Because later on in the hearing, Greg says, if they're alleging that there will be no fetal death certificates, then I'm okay to drop that issue because I can make every other argument around that. But they were backed into a corner so badly that they needed to find the one thread to be able to get out, and they were able to find it.
Yeah, this is just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous, though. I mean, oh, okay. Let's keep going.
Totally agree with that. But Rule 49 does specifically say we're entitled to 5 years of back records. And I think asking them to be produced is reasonable. I also remind the court, as my final comment, they've provided nothing. When I say nothing, Judge, I mean no medical records, no financial record. I mean nothing. Even the stuff that is not even controversial, like legal fees, zero disclosure. So to come to court today and say, oh no, we want to rein in the disclosure is a little bit disingenuous. They should have been providing records along the way because that's what Rule 49 required.
Thank you, counsel. Do you recollect when the first filing was that would necessitate records back that far?
Yes, it would be 2021 February.
August 2021.
Good on his associate there for having the dates
Your Honor,
ready to go.
Just to be clear, discovery has been transmitted, albeit minimally, because my client has been afraid of the backlash that would occur. My client did
Pause.
send Mr. Eckard confirmation that she was.
Discovery has been given, albeit, what did he say?
Minimally, yeah.
Minimally. That is not how this process works, Corey. Your client is not allowed to give minimal discovery because she's worried about backlash from her own behavior and her own discovery. So she's worried about handing over the documents that would lead to more ridicule online. Well, then maybe you shouldn't have lied about all this stuff. Minimal discovery. Is there such a thing? No. You either turn it over or you don't. All right, go ahead.
Yep.
Pregnant. She sent him over the results of her blood testing.
Pause.
She has
Yep.
Pause. Blood testing. He just said blood testing. Corey, you have a real problem on your hands.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't actually have records of a blood test, you just lied to a judge. Because to my knowledge, upon information and belief, the defendant has not received anything but urine tests. HCG positive urine tests. We have not seen one blood test. Now, is it possible that she sent Clayton a blood test that we did not see? I guess. But I'm telling you, upon information and belief, I do not believe that there is one blood test that has been shown to anybody in this case. I guess we will find out at trial. But Corey, did you check? Did you check the records that you claim she turned over? Because I don't think you're right here. I don't think she handed over a blood test. You better make sure, because if I'm the opposing counsel, I think I may be filing for sanctions against you for saying that if you knew that wasn't true.
Mm-hmm. Let's go
Just
back.
saying. I'm not saying Greg would do that, but I would.
The results of her blood testing. She has sent him over documents. I believe that the evidence will show that she was pregnant. I believe that that will be clear once everything is presented to the court. And I don't believe that it would be appropriate for her to have to disclose records dating back to January 1st of 2018, as the respondent is requesting, addressing her anger management, substance abuse, domestic violence, and additional things. This is a fishing expedition.
Anger management? Did he just tell us that she's had anger management therapy? We never knew this.
No,
Why is he saying it if he doesn't want if she doesn't want anyone to know?
I think this was a part of Greg Wignet's email over to Corey for discovery, saying that I want any and all documents that could show a history of mental disorders and various things that he's going to build his argument around. And in that, he listed a number of categories of medical documents.
Okay, I gotcha. Boots on the Ground says, rewind. He was starting to say HCG and then changed to blood test. Well, that was pretty specific though, Corey. If you said blood test and you don't know if there's a blood test or there isn't a blood test, we have a problem. Go back a little. Let's see if we think he was going to say HCG.
I believe that that will be him over the results of her confirmation.
Right
He did say H.
Sent him over the results of her blood test.
Yeah, right there.
Oh
Sent
my
him
God.
Over H, the results of the blood testing.
Is that evidence that he knows HCG tests are just a sign of pregnancy and not proof of pregnancy? And he's trying to make it sound like there's more here than there is. We've never seen a blood test, Corey. If there are blood tests, why haven't they been sent over to the defendant? And saying that you've sent them over to the defendant does not mean it's actually happened. And I don't think it has.
Especially coming directly from Laura, because that's not. Discovery is a really fickle thing, because in a criminal trial you have to worry about chain of custody and whatnot. In the civil and family court matters, I imagine it's even harder to ensure that something hasn't been tampered with.
Slightly Neurotic says, is he purposefully lying to the judge? I don't know. That's my question. Is he lying? If you're lying in front of a judge, it's purposeful. Is he just getting it wrong because he hasn't looked at the records yet thoroughly? He doesn't really have an excuse for that. He's been on this case long enough to have found out if she has evidence of pregnancy. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. All right, let's keep going.
Testing. She has sent him over documents. I believe that the evidence will show that she was pregnant. I believe that that will be clear once everything is presented to the court. And I don't believe that it would be appropriate for her to have to disclose records dating back to January 1st of 2018, as the respondent is requesting, addressing her anger management, substance abuse, domestic violence, and additional things. This is a fishing expedition. This is what's covered under COMO. The difference is we don't even have this situation under COMO, Your Honor. We have a situation where there is no child. There are no best interests of a child to be considered. We have a situation where the respondent is on a fishing expedition. He's trying to pull things in and twist stories of previous incidents against my client to make it seem like she's fabricating these allegations, when the reality is, and like I said, I believe the evidence will show this, my client was pregnant. She did have a miscarriage. She's no longer pregnant. And I believe that the evidence will show that. And so for those reasons, we're asking the court not to allow this fishing expedition. They're requesting documents dating back to January of 2018. This is absolutely should be covered under COMO. And I believe that the court should actually look at this even further, because like I said, there are no best interests here to evaluate, to overrule my client's medical patient privilege. I understand that my client has an obligation to prove her pregnancy, and I think that it's in her best interest to do so as well. But to allow the respondent to go back 5 years into her domestic violence history, her substance abuse history, and obviously assuming that there even is any, it's just absolutely inappropriate. And this is a fishing expedition. Thank you.
You said your client did provide limited disclosure.
Oh,
Did
here we
that
go.
include evidence of the miscarriage?
No, Your Honor. The miscarriage came further throughout this case, and the records that outline the miscarriage and her going to the doctor after the miscarriage have not yet been sent.
And when are
Your Honor, all of my client's medical records pertaining to the pregnancy will be sent to the respondent by the end of the week. I do have them. We were just waiting on the ruling on the motion for confidentiality because we have concerns that by next week they'll be released to the public.
How would they be released to the public, counsel, if they're just exchanged between counsel?
Well, Your Honor, I believe that they would also be sent to the respondent, and I can tell the court that even my own emails to opposing counsel have been, in this case, released to the public. I'm not insinuating that that is Mr.
That's a damn lie, Corey. And you know it. You know damn well that's a lie. Your emails have only been in as exhibits on court documents that are on the public docket. I have read your emails, and I didn't get one of them that wasn't on a public document that was on the docket in Maricopa County. You're a damn liar, and you know it. You're lying to the judge right now. Your emails have not been shared, not on this program. I didn't see any, and I've been on Reddit. I'm always on Reddit. I've seen all the emails that have been released. Haven't you, Brad? You've seen the emails. They have been attached to court documents as exhibits and quoted in motions written by Greg Woodnick. You are a damn liar if you're saying that your emails, well, I don't know who's sharing your emails that weren't connected to the court records. Who? Where? I followed this case as closely as anybody. Dave, I asked Dave, did you see any of Corey's emails that weren't attached to a motion? Nope. You think Dave would have seen that? Yeah. Think somebody wouldn't have sent it to my inbox? Do you know how many people email me with these documents and stuff? Every single time we have read one of Corey's emails, it has been attached to a record in this court as an exhibit. He's lying. damn. I'm actually, Greg missed this opportunity, I think, to stand up and say that is not true. Any emails that the public has been discussing were attached as exhibits to my motions. I think he should have called them out on that, because that is an absolute damn lie. Could he prove which emails? Show us which email, Corey. Which email has been released to the public that wasn't on a exhibit on a public record?
So he goes into this a little bit further, and he says, if you go to the courthouse and request a filing, it's going to be Xeroxed, or it's going to be printed off in black and white because the courthouse doesn't want to pay for color, which color ink is expensive in Iraq in and of itself, but that's neither here nor there. If the documents that were being leaked or posted on the Justice for Clayton wiki and whatnot were from public requests for documents, they should be in black and white and not in color.
But Sheila has a very good point here. He is claiming the leak is because the docs are in color, but digital documents are in color, and those received in person are black and white. That is correct. You can get, and a lot of the people who go to the courthouse to get the documents are getting them on USB drives. They are not getting them in, and they will send the USB drive in the mail as well. If you're getting the digital documents on a USB drive, tell me how they would be turned from color to black and white, Brad.
It shouldn't be.
No, they're getting, so they don't know who's getting records in person or who's getting records through the mail on USB ports. And I happen to know the people who have been giving me documents are getting them on USB. They're getting digital files. There's no way those digital files are being converted to black and white. They're color. So no, this argument is garbage. And I wish, I don't know if Greg just didn't care about this argument or if he didn't think about it, but this, call him out on all of this stuff, Greg, all of it, because this is all baloney. No one is leaking documents to anyone. These are public records requests. I'm so pissed.
Mr. Woodnick, I understand he has an obligation to share the documents with his client, but the reality here is documents that are being transmitted, pleadings that are being filed, emails that are being sent between the parties are being released to the public in a manner of hours, not even days, certainly prior to someone's ability to pull pleadings online.
I haven't gotten any within hours.
Being released to the public are being released in color. I believe it's common knowledge that when you go down to the courthouse and request documents, those documents come back in black and white. So it's clear to me that there's some sort of a leak to the public. That's why we filed our motion for confidentiality, and I don't believe it's appropriate for my client's records dating back to 2018 to be dragged through the public.
All right. When did the miscarriage occur, counsel?
So this is the best part. The judge just completely ignored everything that he just said.
She did. All she cared about was like what she wanted to know next. But also notice her demeanor. She never interrupted him. Like, she doesn't give a shit what he's talking about right now, but she never interrupted him. She's not being hostile towards him, not like the grudge judge in Levy County. Yeah, Stephanie says, so what? Are these documents being filed in this case? Then they are public unless protected by the court. This is a tempest in a teapot. That's right, Stephanie. What he's saying is all these documents that got filed on the record are somehow getting out to the public before they could possibly get them from the court. Oh, well, who cares? They're going to be public anyway. So once you file them with the clerk, like, this is why people were saying to me, oh, how come you're getting Kowalski documents before they're on the docket? Well, but they're not. Just because someone sent me a document that was already filed, but just the clerk didn't get it up on the docket yet, doesn't mean that it's not a public document. It is. Just because I've got a source who's sending me this stuff early, well, good for me. Yay for me. It's called journalism. It's called journalism. So if I'm getting access to public documents that aren't quite on the docket yet, it doesn't make them not public. They're not under a protective order, is right, Stephanie. She tried to get them under a protective order, but she lost, and she's going to lose again here because although, Stephanie, you'll have to listen because what the judge says really bothers me in this next part here. But the fact that the judge just says ignored him totally, and then she goes, when did this miscarriage happen? Also cracked me up because this is not an evidentiary hearing. Yeah. She actually doesn't need to be asking this question right now. She just needs to set the date for the hearing. And like, this is supposed to be a status hearing. This is not an evidentiary hearing. When she asked that, I about fell out of my chair. I was like, oh boy, are you in trouble?
Yeah.
Because Mama Judge is now very interested in what the heck you are doing and what you are saying and what your story is. So here it comes.
That an exact date is known.
What month?
Wait, go back. Go back. What month? He doesn't know.
Miscarriage occur, counsel.
Look at this. He has to
I'm
talk
not
to.
sure that an exact date is known.
What month?
I swear, if you put a wig on Nick Rekieta, this is exactly how he would be asking questions to this guy.
What month? Oh my God. Mommy Judge is not having it. She's like, when did this miscarriage happen? We're not sure exactly. What month? You've got to know. You've got a female judge. She's probably got kids at home. She's probably had a few pregnancies of her own. A woman does not have a miscarriage after the first month or two and not know it. You could possibly have a miscarriage in the very beginning and think it's a heavy period and not know. That's absolutely possible. But by the time you get to 15, 16, 14 weeks, even 12 weeks, I would think you would know. I mean, there are a lot of women in this audience who have had miscarriages, and they will tell you that they absolutely knew. So stop it already. Just stop it. This judge is not having it. Every woman knows what day her miscarriage happened, says Stephanie. Stephanie has had more than one. She would know. Stephanie says, I'm sorry, but if you're at 9 weeks, you know. I mean, it is possible, Steph. There are some people who it's happened to where they think it's just a heavy period and they don't know, or they find out afterwards. That I could understand early on because you're talking about blood clots and just bleeding at that point. But beyond 10 weeks, no way.
But the thing is you've already gone through the steps of taking multiple urine tests to say that you're pregnant. You know... You fundamentally believe in your soul you're pregnant at this point. So if anything happens down there, you immediately go to your OBGYN or the emergency room and try and figure out what the heck is happening to me because you are so worried about your babies that are inside of you that you would... Everything in your being is trying to figure out what's going on with them.
Dr. Joe confirming you would know in the second trimester. You're not going to mistake it. So she's either saying she didn't know because she was bleeding and thought it was a period and didn't go get it checked out, because you couldn't have a miscarriage without bleeding. That's not happening without blood. And if you're bleeding and you think you're pregnant, then you go to the doctor because you know something bad is happening. You're not supposed to be bleeding when you're pregnant. There's no period when you're pregnant, so there's no blood. And if there is blood, that's a problem. And if there were no blood and we're talking dead fetuses, we're talking sepsis. There's no way you get very, very ill. So I'm sorry, this is bullshit. She knows that this is bullshit, and so does her attorney, because watch his body language coming up. For one, Stephanie, are you noticing that Corey has to ask her about these dates and stuff? Why doesn't he know this already? She's been his client for a month and he doesn't know what the story is yet. Are we just making this up as we go along? This is crazy. All right, keep going. This is crazy.
I believe my client went to the doctor in mid-November, and that's when it was determined that she had a miscarriage. We would believe that it was in the maybe month or 2 months leading up to that time.
So
she would have been 26 weeks in mid-November, 26 weeks, because she said she was 100%, 24 weeks pregnant on November 2nd. By mid-November, we're talking 26, 27 weeks, which then she claims she went to a doctor and was told she miscarried a couple months before and didn't know it. What? No. Even if you do the math, in October or September, that still puts her at 19, 20, 21 weeks. No. With twins, no less. Twins, guys.
Sorry.
Stephanie says lawyers should know the facts before taking the case. Yeah, I agree. Kirk Gardner says, I hate to interrupt this stream. However, a writ of prohibition has been entered in the Hales case. Yes, it has. I have it, and we can read it. And what that means is the Hales are asking for a freeze, a stay on any action until they appeal the judge denying the motion to disqualify himself, because he is so incredibly biased against the the defendant in the case, Mr. Hales. And so his attorneys here, let me show you what's on Larry's page right now. Motion for stay trial court proceedings pending a petition for writ of prohibition. So I have this. I can read it later, maybe if we get through this. Yeah, but that's what's happening there.
We're getting so flustered and stopping this.
Oh,
hearing.
sorry.
No, you're good. You wouldn't think that, and we're almost an hour and a half into the stream, and we've only gotten 20 minutes in. So,
okay, we're going to try and move faster.
Previous counsel should have disclosed that. Correct.
Yes, that is the biggest thing is that because Keith wasn't brought onto the case until I think near
February?
the end of
beginning of February.
It was near the end of December, I think, because I think it was Keith that filed
geez,
the
so he's
motion
been
to
there
dismiss.
longer than I thought. Okay. I thought that was that woman that filed the motion to dismiss, and then she jumped off the case.
Well, let's find out.
I think it was the female attorney that she had right before this. Dweez says, Megan, let's not forget about her Christmas Eve video she put out, or the emails to Dave and Reality Steve into December. That's correct. Dave and Steve got emails from her in December claiming that she was still 100% pregnant. So how do you go to the doctor in November, be told that you lost them, and then you're still emailing people to tell them that you're pregnant in December, a month later? No, there is plenty of evidence that this is a fake story. She made this up. And I can't believe that this attorney didn't research this case. He clearly didn't, or he doesn't care. Yeah, it was Lexi who was the attorney at that time. So Lexi files the motion to dismiss. Then she drops off the case. That was December 27th. Corey picked up the case, I believe, in January.
Yeah, so the first filing from Corey was the motion for confidentiality in the middle of January.
Right.
But
he has been on the case long enough to know whether or not this woman was pregnant or not. And this story that he's telling the judge right now is just insane. Dave Neal is dropping a video in 10 minutes with bombshell news. Yeah, he did text me about what it is. It's pretty bad.
All right.
Maybe we'll stream snipe him. No, I can't do that.
Yeah.
The increasingly concerning nature of this case and the request for confidentiality and the request for the dismissal, I believe that given the fact that everything my client sends to respondent is being shared with the media, believe that warrants at least some degree of the court finding her actions to be reasonable. She is actually receiving threats to her life, voicemails on her phone.
One threat from a
This is
fake
concerning
Facebook
conduct from the
account.
public. And so we were just waiting on, same thing with the deposition.
The public is
told
not
Mr.
doing
Woodnick
these
we would
things.
appear for a deposition if the court ordered us to. We just wanted to have the motion to quash and the motion for confidentiality ruled on prior to doing so. Because
Yeah,
we wanted to have
denied.
input into those
Where's my button?
But counsel, my follow-up question to you then would be, if she had disclosed it in November, wouldn't this case have simply gone away and these issues wouldn't remain?
Well, no, Your Honor, because she did
Did you
disclose
see
the
that?
fact that she
What?
Watch
Say
Greg.
these issues wouldn't remain?
He's like, very good question, Judge. Would you like to tell us, Corey, about, I would have liked to have known this in November instead of having to write all these briefings and whatnot showing how terrible everything is.
Dr. Joe, double finger guns denied. Let me get this
She did
straight.
disclose the
No, go ahead.
Oh.
fact that she had a miscarriage. It's well documented in our pleadings. I understand
No, it's
that the
not.
medical record either, but my client does have a patient. She has privileges that in this case are not only being not considered or not fully considered, but
So here's the funny thing about this. So I make a court document that says I'm pregnant. That's disclosing your medical information, saying that I am pregnant. That is a piece of the medical or could be considered a confidential piece of information. And then saying that you're not pregnant is now supposedly also super secret confidential pregnancy information.
I know,
Not when
she brought this case.
Yeah.
She brought a case to court saying, I am pregnant. now the defendant gets to do everything he needs to do in discovery to decide to find out if that was true or not. She's putting her medical condition at issue. Thank you, Stephanie, for putting it in terms we can understand. You have no privilege to your medical records if you're putting your medical condition at issue by filing a suit like this. Absolutely not. Thank you. But Stephanie, the judge is about to say, we are not going to give any medical records. Neither one is going to put these medical records out into the public. If we don't get the medical records, she can forever say, if they are sealed behind some, black door into a vault at the court, she's going to be able to forever say, I got screwed and I was pregnant and I showed it at court and you can't prove me wrong. So I am hoping that Greg Woodnick knows that that's what she's planning on doing, and he will petition the judge to release at least the one medical record or two medical records that pertain specifically to the fact that she is not pregnant, so that his client's name can be, exonerated. Mm-hmm.
It's being taken even further, and her documents are being. I have no doubt that the second we send over that disclosure statement by the end of the week, all of her records will be on Reddit. And so, Your Honor, I don't believe that. I understand where the court is coming from, and I think that had there been some sort of an agreement, we've offered for.
So I made this argument on previous streams. Everything that's been released to Reddit thus far has been motions, pleadings, or orders in the case.
Mm-hmm.
Evidentiary documents can't be released until they're either put in a motion or presented at trial and placed as exhibits. So there's no way that these documents are going to come out.
Right, and that's the only way they have come out is through motions as exhibits. And by the way, she put a bunch of them in her own motions. So she has released them on a public docket. It's too bad she didn't know that a public docket is public. That's nobody's fault but her own. So yes, this is the full hearing, the one that we only saw 8 minutes of the other day.
Yep.
All right, let's keep going.
The documents to be shared between counsel. I've offered for him to come to my office and see
of the
documents.
clips that AZ Central posted. We're starting to get into the rerun-ish area.
Yeah.
But it's not us trying to hide the ball. It's us trying to make sure that my client's medical records aren't shared with the entire world.
All right, we'll have the minute at Gray reflect that no party is to disclose outside of themselves any medical or other documentation disclosed between the parties. That goes both ways. I don't want anyone releasing any exhibits, medical records, or anything else regarding the other person. And that goes both ways, and truthfully should go without saying, but I recognize it does not in this case. I am going to order that.
So she's really saying that the exhibits are going to be sealed now in every motion, or is she saying you can't release any medical records or other exhibits before they go in a motion? Like,
Yes.
What is she actually saying? Can we go back and hear that again? Go back and hear it again. Stephanie, I want you to listen to what she's saying and tell me, is she actually saying we're going to seal the exhibits on all these motions? Because that's what I heard.
That goes both ways. And
go back.
Or other documents.
Go back.
Us trying to make sure that my client's
all right, here we go.
medical records aren't shared with the entire world.
All right, we'll have the minute at Gray reflect that no party is to disclose outside of themselves any medical or other documentation disclosed between the parties. That goes both ways. I don't want.
Yeah. So no disclosure outside of the parties. So lawyers and.
Right, but does that mean that those exhibits cannot go in the motions? That will they be redacted now from the motions? Is my question, because she doesn't really.
My non-lawyer hat says that she did not say that there's no order for sealing or anything like that. This is just saying that disclosure. CC says disclose. What does that word mean? Basically, telling or giving the documents to anyone other than the interested parties, which would be the lawyers and those who have retained those lawyers. And
His stuff says she's saying when they send the medical records to counsel, not attached as an actual exhibit, they can't be disclosed. Once they are evidence in the case, she needs a protective order. Oh, well, that's good information because she didn't get the protective order.
Yeah, it
so
was denied.
that means once they are in as evidence, we're going to get to see them.
Yep.
Oh, great.
Anyone releasing any exhibits, medical records, or anything else regarding the other person. And that goes both ways and truthfully should go without saying, but I recognize it does not in this case. I am going to order that the records be disclosed dating back to August of 2020. That's 1 year prior to the first filing. I think that.
Yeah, so a lot of talk about this Como case, and I think it's Rule 26, was that they're only allowed to go back 5 years for necessary medical records. But they don't need 5 years. They only need to go back as far back as Greg Gillespie. And then they said, well, I'm going to give an additional year on that, and that goes back to 2020. So that's what she's currently making an order for.
That's appropriate. Mr. Woodnick, do you have a release with you today that she can sign?
I've sent that.
Bye, Dr. Joe.
Just,
See you
outline
again.
so that it would date
Thanks
back
for
to
being here.
2018, So I believe we need to.
That's fine.
If you'd like to adjust that, and then we can sign that and have that done today. You can do that now.
Now, this was the cool thing that was
Judge,
not in the AZ Central pieces. She goes, "Where's the hip release? We're signing it today." She's like, "We're not
Yeah.
going around this."
Did you bring it with you? Did
Yeah.
you bring it with you? Because she's going to make her sign it right there in front of her, which she has to, because she's been asked to sign it multiple times and wouldn't sign it.
on the discovery issue, if I may.
Sure.
I appreciate Your Honor's ruling. Obviously, I'm assuming if there is something that comes out in those records that requires us to seek leave of the court to expand that, we can readdress that with the court.
Steph said they can redact things that aren't relevant to the case, wait, and blah, blah, blah. But here's the funny thing. When she posted her initial HCG urine test, everything was posted without redactions, including height, weight, BMI. She didn't redact nothing.
She didn't redact any of that, and she could have. Let me get to some of the super chats. I didn't forget you guys. I was just trying to get through some of this. Liz Bird, thanks for the super chat, says you're not allowed to laugh at her faces in court. And it's going to be difficult, but that is correct. I'm going to keep a straight face. Brianne Wilson, thanks for the super chat, says, I think it was people waiting for their turn for their court case. I don't think family court has live streams due to minors. No, hers was live streamed before, although you're right, because this is a different court than the one that was live streamed. The one that was live streamed was a criminal court because it was for the protection order. So that could be the difference here. So that's possible. But because there are no minors in this case, maybe we can ask for it, though, because there are no minors. There's no reason to keep it off the record. Sarah, this made me laugh. It's more of a safari than a fishing expedition.
We're looking at the wild Laura Owens sitting in her natural habitat fabricating evidence.
If you look to your left, you will see an attorney in over his head who has not read all the information in this case. Mazza, thanks for the super chat, says, I think he's trying to claim RavGen counts as a blood test. Well, that would be interesting. Also, new members can fill in the blanks with Dave Neal's playlist. P.S. Greg is awesome. Yes, Dave Neal has a great playlist on this. So do I. My playlist is called Fetal Attraction. Dave's playlist, I'm actually not sure what it's called. We should look that up so I can tell people. But Dave Neal is great. Go subscribe to him. Natasha, thanks for the super chat. I'm behind, but JD said she had been to the doctor a week prior, now claims that she maybe lost the baby a month or two prior. Impossible. That's right. On November 2nd, she claimed she had just been to the OBGYN on the previous Friday, which would have been October 27th, I think. And she said she was 100% pregnant. That was confirmed at that thing, at that hearing.
The protective order.
At the OBGYN appointment. So yeah, there's so much in her story that none of it makes sense. And she really thinks that she's going to get away with it. She really does. But
wrong.
She's not going to.
Imagine getting part of a medical record because of the date issue. We'd be able to come back to court and address that if necessary.
Both parties always have that right.
Secondarily, appreciate that Your Honor's not living this case every day, but the testimony, not the testimony, the statement of counsel was just that mother says she had a miscarriage 2 months before November. In November, the parties appeared in front of Judge Gail Ketsis, where mother had a pregnant belly and told Judge Gail Ketsis she was 100% pregnant by my client. Your Honor's not adjudicating that today, but I'm asking Your Honor to take.
So we've heard this in the AZ Central clip, but Steph just asked, has our own lawyer seen the medical records to confirm they prove anything? Well, in this hearing, he's making statements. He claims the evidence will show, and we just haven't provided it to the defense.
And he said, I believe my client was pregnant, and we will show you all the evidence that we have. He said that. He said it. And by the way, LA, I am dying right now. Fetal attraction. Fetal attraction. I love it. Fetal attraction. That's going to be in my head forever now. Thank you. Thank you for that. I love it when the chat does that to me. Thank you for the earworm. Wow.
Back the protective order proceeding that was granted in my client's favor for purposes of not consolidation, to be heard concurrently for the purposes of attorney's fees and sanctions on that matter. Because if what counsel just said is that she was not pregnant at that time and she lied to Judge Gail Ketsis in that proceeding.
I love the way he says that.
Steph,
she lied?
We're going to take the closed captions off for a second. Steph, you have to watch Laura Owens just get infuriated.
Indignant. She gets indignant.
Yeah. Of when Greg Winkman says that she lied, she's got her pointer finger up already. She goes, he cannot say that about me. Go back. No. There.
That time, and she lied to Judge Gail Ketsis in that proceeding, then I think that's sanctionable, and Your Honor could enter
twice. That's the second time that he's said that.
Not jurisdiction, but to hear that matter concurrently, or to have that file available for our upcoming evidentiary hearing.
Response?
Your Honor, I would ask the court to deny that request. Spoken to experts in this case preemptively about this trial. The reality is sometimes people have miscarriages and they don't even know that they miscarried. I'm not saying that that is the circumstance here. I certainly wasn't present. Saying that my client has not lied in this case. She has not intentionally lied to the court. Whether or not she was pregnant on that date, I think she could have testified that she was pregnant and she could have had a miscarriage days prior. I don't know, but I believe that the testimony in her deposition, the testimony in her final trial, and the expert testimony that will come with it will make those things clear. I believe it'd be absolutely inappropriate to throw out previous.
Okay, I went over this when we did this in the first one, but I got to say it again. Why don't you know? Why don't you know, Corey? I don't know. He says, I don't know. Why don't you know? It's your job to know. It's literally your job. You have to know. And also, experts are going to testify that this can happen, not that it did happen to her. Not doctors are going to testify that this happened to her. But experts, you're going to hire experts to say that it could have happened to somebody hypothetically at some time. Oh my God, stop it. All right, there's breaking news. Dave, I guess, has dropped his video, so I can now say it. Laura Owens appears to be threatening extortion against Clayton now. She is threatening to file another lawsuit against him for the real estate stuff if he doesn't drop this case. I do not know how she can do that. If that is in writing, and I don't know if it is, if she sent that to his lawyer, or I think that that's illegal. I do not think that you can threaten a new lawsuit if someone doesn't drop the current lawsuit that you brought. She brought this. She brought this action. But I don't know. I'm not an attorney. Stephanie, can you do that? If you're involved, is it extortion? That's an attorney opinion right there. That's extortion. So this is about to get very interesting.
I could see a prosecutor doing something like that, but I don't see
an unethical
civil action doing something like that.
Let me see something. Let me see if there's actually. anything in writing here. Hold on. If she sent this to his attorney, holy cow. I mean, okay, so I'm going to drop a link for Dave's video about this in the chat. Dave Neal, new vid. All right, let's see. What's this? Okay, that's the other case. Hold on. Okay, what is this? February 27th. Okay, here it is.
That's yesterday.
Oh my. Okay, here, let's just watch a little bit of Dave's video. I do want you to go and click on Dave's video. We are not going to watch this entire thing, but I do want to see, because I haven't seen what this is. But please do give him the clicks. Dave does a lot of good work. He works very hard.
Specifically in relation to the...
Let's back up a little bit. Comprehensive legal notice of intent to sue for breaches of
contractual and fiduciary obligations or duties.
Don't spin.
Send it to me and I can pull it up.
All right. You want to go to 627.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe a little before that. Go to like the 6-minute mark.
Yeah.
What is happening to my... Why is this doing this, YouTube? Why are you doing this to me? Stop spinning.
And who knows? Pursuant to the breaches of contractual obligation, fiduciary duties, negligence, fraudulent misrepresentation, and professional misconduct as verified by the Arizona Department of Real Estate, ADRE. Your failure to fulfill your professional obligations, specifically in relation to the properties at Redacted and Redacted, Scottsdale, Arizona. By the way, I also will be in Scottsdale, Arizona, March 28th,
always be
2024. Selling. If you would like to come to my stand-up comedy show, we will have tickets to that show. They're all available right now. I'll post a link below. I'll be doing a live Q&A with former Bachelor Clayton Echard, who you may have heard of before. So if you want to come,
I hope he does. A comedy show around June 10th, around that trip, so that we can all do a meetup at Dave's comedy show. That will be so fun. That will be so fun. He said he's looking into it. So
that stand-up show and support live stand-up, or just buy a ticket just to support us. You can do either way. I'm not going to stop you if you want to buy a ticket. All right. So always be promoting.
Didn't you just say that? Always be selling.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is, I'm trying to remember where it was said, but I think it was Clayton who said that she backed out of wanting to do the real estate deals.
Well, no, he never sent them in. He was wrong because he knew she was going to back out, which she did. But then when she found out that he didn't put the deals in, that's when she went to the board about him. But they decided that though he did do something wrong, they weren't going to punish him because they realized that he was under assault by a crazy person. So, yeah.
Verification of damages. The total compensatory damages sought $1,368,936.
That goes to pay her attorney's fees.
80 cents.
Yeah, and 80 cents. And 80 cents. Yeah, 1 million.
Come on, you know what? Round it up to 1.4. Why don't you? Is meticulously calculated based on the current market values of the aforementioned properties as of February 27th, 2024, amounting to $1.2 million. This valuation is derived from reputable real estate valuation services, including Redfin, to ensure accuracy and fairness and compensation.
No. Every real estate associate will tell you those market values are not indicative of proper valuations for real estate. They do voodoo behind the scenes using recent sales to give estimations for what they are, but just because you didn't get the properties to spend $1.4 million doesn't mean that you can ask for $1.4 million.
This is crazy. Also, I think this was signed by her. Stephanie, I don't think this was signed by her lawyer, or Dave would not have redacted it if it was signed by a lawyer. I'm going to ask him right now. Was that signed by her?
And it says that he has to
and look at this. Look
by
at this
February 29th.
It's her favorite. This is her favorite term, stipulated conditions. She loves to say stipulated conditions. Look what it says. Stipulated conditions for resolution. Here's the extortion part. In lieu of immediate litigation, I propose an alternative resolution contingent upon your stipulation to dismiss the case they're currently in, Owens v. Echard, forthwith, and to mutually agree to forbear from any future legal actions against each other for any claims. This proposition is tendered in a spirit of amicable dispute resolution to mitigate further legal entanglements.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I think she used the word forbear wrong, too. I don't think that's the proper use of the word forbear, but I could be wrong.
Forgo.
It doesn't, forbear is not the right word, I don't think. What does forbear mean? Forgo is the word I think she meant to use.
Yeah.
Forbear.
Steph says this is a threat.
An ancestor. Forbear means generations of his forebears had lived in London.
Yeah.
Forgo. Yes, this is a threat. This is a threat, Stephanie. That is what this is.
And the reason that your response is before February 29th is because she knows that as soon as she goes into deposition, she is royally screwed.
Mm-hmm.
More so than Clayton actually did.
So Stephanie, she did this without her attorney. If you were her attorney right now, what would you be doing? What would you say if you saw this? I mean, Stephanie says, I perceive this absolutely as a threat. Well, it says right there, your response to this legal notice is mandated by no later than February 20th. She thinks she can mandate him.
Yeah.
No later than February 29th by the close of business. Absent a satisfactory response, if you don't give me what I want, I am fully prepared to initiate legal proceedings to seek redress and restitution for the aforementioned breaches. Yeah. Stephanie says she would fire her as a client, but see, that's what's going to happen. Corey's going to drop her, and then the case is going to get continued. The case is going to get continued. Yeah, because she won't have an attorney, and she probably won't be able to find one who will take her.
This is so bullshit.
Yeah, it is. Okay, Stephanie says we need to look up the law on extortion in Arizona. Okay, no problem. I can do that right now because I've got Googles via the internets. Show me extortion laws in Arizona.
So the funny thing is while you're looking that up,
extortion is a serious offense in Arizona. It is.
Why
it's
would
a serious
it be serious?
Offense. Under ARS 13-1804, extortion is the crime where people take or try to take another person's property by threatening to do some future act. A criminal offense of extortion where the defendant threatened death or physical injury is a Class 2 felony punishable by 12.5 years in state prison. Extortion committed by any other threat is a Class 4 felony punishable by 3 years and 9 months in a state prison. All right. Let's get over to the actual law.
Look at this.
You want to tangle, Laura? You want to go? Okay, here we go. Share this instead. Arizona statute that defines the crime of obstruction of justice. No, we don't want that. We want extortion. Where's extortion? Not obstruction. Extortion. What, did I get the wrong? Did I click on the wrong link? I thought I clicked on the right link. Okay, hold on. Extortion. Under ARS 1304. There it is. Okay. Sorry. Let's do that. Present, share screen. Share. All right. Voyeurism.
What?
No, penalties. Holy crap. What is this? Why does it keep doing this to me?
That is not what we're looking for.
It's probably in this. It's in the same chapter. That's why.
Oh, there it is. Extortion. Right. Scroll right there.
Extortion. All right, here. I don't know why it keeps doing. There we go.
Okay.
All right. Theft by extortion. You commit this offense if you take or attempt to take another person's property by threatening to do some future act. A violation of this law can lead to a Class 2 felony charge, punishable by up to 12.5 years in state prison. The language of 13-1804 lists several threats that will lead to an extortion charge. For example, a prosecutor can charge people with extortion if they take something from someone or try to take something and threaten to cause physical injury, cause damage to property, or accuse someone of a crime, taking a person's car after threatening to kill the driver's spouse, threatening to expose a person's extramarital affair unless they pay money, threatening to accuse someone of murder if they do not deed over a piece of property.
Here, this is from a attorney wanting business. I've got 1304 or 1804 or 13804 pulled up. There we go. Man. Window here. Restitution for offense causing economic loss, fine for reimbursement of public monies, notification. On a defendant's conviction for an offense causing economic loss to any person, the court in its sole discretion may order that any or all of a portion of a fine be imposed by ordering restitution for economic loss.
And
See,
we
that's
need
the
to
thing.
get to the definition. Where's the definition under the law of extortion? All right, wait, what does F say? No. E. If more than, no. Court, after making the determinations. Keep going. Keep going. God, the law is so freaking complicated. Why doesn't it define it?
Yeah.
13804. 13. That still doesn't look like the text of the law. Arizona statute. It doesn't look like it to
Victim
me.
restitution, but
U.S. federal codes. Arizona revised statutes, Title 13, criminal code. Restitution for
Theft by
offenses causing
extortion.
economic loss, fine for reimbursement. Look, I just want the text of the law.
a person commits theft by extortion by knowingly obtaining or seeking to obtain property or services by means of a threat in order to do that in the future of any of the following: cause physical harm, damage to property, accuse anyone of a crime, or bring criminal
charges. That's not it. Expose a secret. No. Take or withhold action. No, that's as a public servant.
Cause
anyone to part with any property, maybe. Take or withhold action of an alleged claim of easement or other right of access. But what about just a lawsuit?
That's property law. That's not.
What about a lawsuit? Just in general. It doesn't say that.
No, it doesn't.
She might get away with it. She might actually get away with it.
That's kind of bullshit. Engage in other conduct constituting an offense. That might be the broadest definition to be able to get it under.
It really should be a thing, though, because what this is lawfare. It's lawfare. This is just malicious, vexatious lawfare.
Yeah. If I were Greg Woodnick, I would absolutely send it to Corey and say, we just received this ex parte communication, or Clayton did, because he's got a order of protection from harassment from her still. So he shouldn't be receiving anything anyway.
Did this go directly to him?
It did.
I think it did. Well, so there you go. That's a criminal charge that she can be gotten on too, is violating the protective order. If she sent this directly to him, that's violating the protective order that is in place. She's not allowed to contact him.
Malicious abusive process. Yeah. So I would send it to Corey Keith and be like, your client just sent this and violated her protective order. And then I would put in a motion for the judge and say she violated her protection order and she's attempting to extort my client prior to the deposition in order to prevent the deposition from occurring. And that would be grossly, oh God, this could be good.
Hold on.
No, it's got Clayton Eckard at the top. It doesn't have Greg Woodnick
it has Clayton's name at the top. So whoever sent this to him, and it sure sounds like it's written by her. And Dave doesn't usually redact. He wouldn't have redacted Corey Keith's name. He wouldn't have redacted the lawyer's name. Oh my God, Stephanie, good point. Worse than that, she violated a protective order by way of a threat. Yeah. So she's proving that she's still a danger to him. She violated a protective order where she's not allowed to contact him at all, to contact him to threaten him. This is crazy. Yeah, lock her up straight to jail. Where's my button? Where is it?
Right to jail, right away.
Right away. Right away. I got a new button, Brad. Do you like that one?
I like that one. Because
Right to jail, right away.
The gif of that is so great. I don't even know what it's from, but
it's from Parks and Rec. It's the best.
Really?
Yeah, they have a bunch of Venezuelan administrators or officials that come to visit the town because they're their sister city or whatever, and it is hilarious. They witness one of her meetings, and the meetings they're all yelling at her as usual. They're all yelling at the parks people, and this guy is being interviewed, and he's like, "I don't get it. In Venezuela, you yell at me, right to jail, right away.
Yeah.
You overcook food, jail. You undercook food, jail. He goes, you make appointment at dentist, don't show up, jail. We right to jail, right away."
The funny thing about that is in the military, one of the worst offenses you can commit is being behind on your dental. Because for whatever reason, it's a non-deployable offense because you're unlikely to get dental care if you're overseas.
Oh my.
So you have to be 100% on your dental. So that is the number one thing that they will screw you over for, is being behind on your dental.
He goes, we have the best dental patients in the world. Best patients in the world. You don't show? Jail. We have the best patients in the world. He's like, we would not put up with this. Straight to jail. Oh my God.
All right. All
right, I guess we'll go back to the hearing. Let's go back to the hearing. We'll keep up with that. When we can. Stephanie says this will all work out well for him if, in the end, if he sues her for damages, it goes to malice, which you need to get punitive damages. I don't know if he's going to sue her, Steph.
Even if he sued her, the only thing that they would get is the property for the horse farm. And that might not even be in Laura's name. That's probably in her parents' name.
It's in her parents' name. But I think he probably has a cause of action against her parents, too, at this point, because of all the stuff they've been involved in. But I don't know. He would have to talk to his lawyer about that. V. Take a Sue, thanks for the super chat, says Dr. Joe brought up a great question. When was the sono taken? The sonogram was faked. They did a reverse Google image search and found it on a blog from like 2015 or 2014. I don't know. Stephanie says, I also, as I said before, I wouldn't trust any record coming directly from her. Get it by subpoena from the docs or discount it. Yeah, well, that's what Greg was asking for. That's why they had withheld all the discovery, because he wouldn't accept anything from her. He called it arts and crafts. And he said, I need to see it from the doctor. And that's when she wouldn't sign the HIPAA release. So she finally signed it under the watchful eye of the judge last Wednesday. LA, thanks for the super chat. Megan, please make Fetal Attraction a Broadway musical. If she continues this, she may just get her own Broadway musical. Who knows? Tamara Jane, thanks for the super chat, says Mark safe from ever being a Laura Owens. Yeah, me too. Me too. Chris Jenner says, I bought my plane ticket for 6:10, but have to fly into Phoenix Airport as the Scottsdale Airport is a reserve airport. Is this true, or am I just dumb? Yes, you have to go into Phoenix. Phoenix is the only airport that will get you to the Scottsdale region. Phoenix and Scottsdale are right next to each other. So you're not going to be too far from Phoenix. It's like a 20-minute drive from the airport, 25, 30 minutes. But you might want to make sure, you might want to wait on that, because with what happened today, if she gets dropped by her lawyer, this court case is going to get continued. We will not be there on June 10th. So we'll have to see what happens. Finally, Freed, thanks for the super chat, says the judge may deny the motion to withdraw, especially with the current case timeline. That's true. The judge has the right to say, no, you can't drop off this case, Corey, or the judge may require her to be pro se after all the shenanigans. That's possible. The judge has that ability, although that would be dangerous to make her go pro se, because then she could appeal.
The bigger thing is if the attorney and the trust between attorney and client is so ruined by the client's actions, how can what possible remedy can they possibly get? for this ridiculous extortion attempt. It's so weird.
It is weird. And also, I think what we can call this is what Greg is about to say in the hearing that we're watching, that Corey has client control issues. Client control is a big part of being a lawyer. You have to learn how to control your client. And this client is uncontrollable. She is doing this to try and get out of the deposition, but it's weird. She could land herself in jail. If she signed this, and I still don't have confirmation that she did, but if she signed this and this went to him from her, she has violated a criminal protection order. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let's hear a little bit more of what Dave has to say, but otherwise you guys
80 cents.
Make sure you go over and watch this on his channel.
Well, I will do anything to not pay a $1.4 million and 80 cents payment. What is it that you want me to do? In lieu of immediate litigation, I propose an alternative resolution contingent upon your stipulation to dismiss FC 2023-052114 Jane Doe v. Eckard forthwith and to mutually agree to forbear from any future legal actions against each other for any claims. This proposition is tendered in a spirit of amicable dispute resolution and to mitigate further legal entanglements. Oh, we wouldn't want a legal entanglement here.
What the hell?
Alternative resolution. Doesn't that sound like a band? Coming up next after Fallout Boy, we've got alternative resolution.
I think that the name of her documentary should be called Oral Arguments.
Oh, God. Someone said that last night.
Yeah. I'm going to call their entanglement from now on Oral Arguments. Dave is so funny. He's blowing out my ears, though. Why is his volume so loud? Oh, because I have the auto boost on. I need to turn that off. Dang.
Just some guys singing about his dad with, like eyeliner on. All right. Well, here's an alternative. I tell you what, Jane Doe, I got an alternative resolution. Why don't we just let the court case play out and let the judge decide whether or not you were ever pregnant? Why don't we let that happen? Why do we have to get all the real estate? $1.4 million? First of all, there's no way she was going to pay the full amount for these homes. So how the hell can she say she lost out on $1.4 million? Okay.
Well, anybody can sue anybody for any reason. And that's what makes her so dangerous, that if you get tangled up with a vexatious litigant, they'll just sue you improperly for all kinds of things. And unfortunately, our justice system it doesn't do a good job weeding these people out and making it stop until the process is the punishment and they get what they want, which is to completely destroy you through litigation. And that's what she's trying to do. She's trying to do it to Clayton. MG Law is piping in here. She says, if she sent that directly to Clayton, then she has likely violated the protective order with a threat, and it's engaging in an abusive process. Well, I hope it lands her straight in jail. That's what I hope.
Right to jail, right away.
All right, let's go back to the hearing, Brad, and see if we can get through this, because it is 1 o'clock and I got to get my podcast recorded
in order for that to be proper.
But I think that's what he's asking. He's asking that the evidentiary hearing be wrapped into this.
And Your Honor, that's not appropriate. The evidentiary hearing has already been done. And like I said, my client's statements that were made during that hearing were true to the best of her knowledge. The reality here is sometimes women believe that they're still pregnant when they've had a miscarriage, and they don't know until they go to the doctor that their levels are no longer appropriate for a pregnant woman. I do believe that is what occurred in this case. Timing-wise, I don't know if any of us will ever be able to tell exactly when that miscarriage took place, but I do know that my client, from our conversations, did testify truthfully, and there were not misstatements that were made there. We're certainly not intending to change her testimony, but like I said, we have spoken to experts that have identified that sort of occurrence does sometimes happen.
Follow-up question to his comments. Counsel, are you asking that I revisit the order against harassment, or just for purposes of fees and costs?
Just for purposes of fees and costs, because the order was appropriate that Judge Gelkatzis entered. However, she did not order fees and costs. I would contend that if she knew what we think the evidence will show, which was that Ms. Owens just lied and said she was 24 weeks pregnant.
There she goes again.
Apparently,
she's going to tap on Corey now.
Apparently 2 months earlier, that had she, if any of that is true, that had she known that that was her testimony at the time, she would have ordered attorney's fees in Mr. Eckard's favor. And I'd like
Shut
to
up, woman.
table the evidence.
Okay, so then if I'm hearing you correctly, what you're saying is the separate cause number is, you think, what delineates and prevents the court from awarding fees and costs at our evidentiary hearing in its totality.
I'm not even sure if I'm right about that. I know that the court changed the rules and required us to use different cause numbers. Otherwise, it's the same parties, and it could be the same cause number. But our rules require us to have two separate cause numbers for the protective order proceeding, which has already been granted, and this tail end of a paternity matter. I'm just asking that Your Honor treat them as one for purposes of any attorney's fees and sanctions you may choose to order in the upcoming hearing.
Final thoughts on that?
Your Honor, this is a res judicata issue. The issue of attorney's fees pertaining to protective orders and injunctions against harassment have already been litigated. They've already been decided. In my opinion, to the extent, well, one, I do believe that it would inhibit, I believe it's a separate case that would inhibit this court's ability to order fees unless it were to be merged, which I don't believe is appropriate with it already being over. If there were more evidence after our trial that would warrant Mr. Woodnick believing that his client would have been entitled to fees, I believe that he would need to take recourse with that judge in that case number and seek appropriate remedies. I don't believe it's appropriate for the court to reissue something that's already been litigated in anticipation of Mr. Woodnick's assertion that there may be additional evidence that would prove his client's claim. There certainly isn't at this point. There haven't been those things proven at this point. So I'd ask the court to deny the request.
So here's the thing. So we can either go through this entire show trial and say, yes, you lied, and get a court to adjudicate that, yes, Laura Owens, you were not pregnant, you falsified this and abused the process. And then what Greg Woodnick is going to do is going to go make a new case with Judge Galketsis and say, we now have a finding of fact from a judge saying that she lied during the hearing that she presented to you that she was 100% pregnant, and we would like to revisit the matter of fees and costs for that issue and this new issue.
Yeah, and that's silly. She has the right to take all of it into consideration. MG Law says he is lying to the court. Miscarriage doesn't happen at that stage of pregnancy for her not to know something happened. Of course he is. And the idea that he's actually doing that, it's like, what kind of lawyer? What are you doing? What are you doing? And Stephanie, I agree with you. I don't believe she's going to pay an expert to come to court and say any of that stuff either, because she wasn't planning on getting to court. She was planning on doing whatever she does to get out of it, to weasel out of it yet again. She's going to try, and I hope it just lands her in jail. Like, she just violated a protective order.
Either
That's what
party
it looks
have an
like to
attorney
me.
at that hearing?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe both.
Okay. All right. So then what the court is going to do is the court is going to hear evidence and testimony as it applies to sanctions and attorney's fees and costs dating back to the filing of the petition. All pleadings filed within the Maricopa County Superior Court. So everyone's on notice.
Everything.
Be prepared to present testimony.
Everything
and
you've
evidence
done.
on that. Whether I ultimately award anything as it applies to that case, I can't tell you right now because I haven't heard any evidence or testimony.
But she's going to hear
But
it.
I'm not going to preclude myself from that option at this point. So we'll have the minute entry reflect it so that it's clear.
Your Honor, if there was, and I wasn't present during those proceedings, but if there was an order denying the request for attorney's fees at that time, is this court setting that order aside?
No, I definitely wouldn't be, but are both parties, I recognize that the court can take full judicial notice of the entire docket of the Maricopa County Superior Court, so I don't need your permission to go look at that case, but I do think I need your permission to go watch the hearing. Do either of you object to me going and watching the hearing?
Absolutely not.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so we'll have the
Oh, she's
minute
going to
entry
love that
reflect
hearing.
That's he should have objected. He should have said no. You shouldn't go watch it.
You
Just
think Corey should have objected?
Yeah, because having the judge watch the hearing, if you have the ability to limit the judge in just reading the docket and not going through, or even just going through the transcript and not actually watching the hearing, he would have to, you would fight for it, because by letting her go through it, he's letting his case fall through for it. MG agrees. So
yeah, I mean, but what was he going to say? No, I don't want you to hear my client lying to another judge. What's he going to say? How's he going to explain that?
Yeah, he would have had to have come up with a really good reason as to why. But if if she's giving you the option of objecting to it, take it.
All right, let's keep going.
Steph is asking what we've been insinuating is if that Laura Owens is somehow sweetening the deal for him.
Oh God, I don't know. But Corey, avoid.
Yeah.
I would suggest he not be alone in a room with her.
At 8:45, the court will review the order of harassment hearing. Do we know what date that occurred on?
The hearing dates, it was split in two. There was October 24th, 2023 and November 2nd, 2023.
Thank you. November 2nd of 2023. All right, so the court will review that between now and then, and that'll give me a little bit better idea of what authority, if any, I have. That just wasn't something I was willing to look at until I had the party's permission.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, and then with regards to Mr. Woodnick's request for the DNA testing and the vital records, is that disclosure you intend to present today or by the end of the week, as you talked about earlier?
DNA test.
I like the Freudian slip there. Did you hear it?
No, what did I miss?
Vital records. Is that disclosure you intend to present?
You intend to prevent? Is that the disclosure that you intend to prevent? That was funny. Bye, Steph. See you later. Love you. Good luck in court if that's where you're going. Mazza wants to know, does the Theracane work well? Yeah, I can't live without this thing. Cannot live without it. Like, I can reach any trigger point that I need to get with it anywhere on my back. I bought this on Amazon for like $35 or something. I should add it to my Amazon store. It's called a Theracane, and I love it. And there are lots of videos on YouTube on how to use it to release certain trigger points, etc. So I highly recommend. I can't live without it.
So
it's called a Thera, Thera cane. Theracane. Why do I keep hearing myself back? I'm hearing myself through your headphones, I think.
I don't know
which is
how.
weird. Maybe your microphone is picking up me in your headphones.
That,
it's very faint, but I can hear it just a little bit.
Unsure. But Tori Johnson says the Corey Laura rumors should stop. I saw them interact before, during, and for 30 minutes after court. I got zero indication there was anything going on aside from a family.
It's not. They're not
relationship.
rumors. It's just jokes. Calm down. It's just a joke. Nobody's actually suggesting that that's happening. But if he's not careful, he could be her next target. If he's being alone with her ever, I wouldn't be. That is not a joke. Like, this woman is dangerous. She likes to tangle men up in these legal entanglements, and who's going to stop her at this point? I don't know.
Or by the end of the week, as you talked about earlier.
DNA testing and the vital records, what exactly are you referring to?
If you look at page 14, I believe it was of his.
So what does this say? The judge has read the requests and understands what is being discussed in this meeting more so than Corey Keith.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. What the heck?
He doesn't know anything, and I don't understand why. He's had this case for a couple months now. He should be well versed in it. All right. Let's go. We got to get done with this.
To your motion,
oh my God.
It requests the court issue an order compelling Ravegan Inc. to produce all records and documents related to fetal DNA testing in this matter, and subsection D was issue an order compelling Vital Records to produce all records and documents related to fetal death certificates under, and then the appropriate ARS for alleged twin fetuses born to petitioner.
Well, Your Honor, there isn't, to my knowledge, there isn't a Vital Records record or request that would be able to be produced.
There's no fetal death certificates.
Regarding the DNA testing.
Because there just wasn't one.
So what my client has would be included in our disclosure.
Okay, and when is that forthcoming, today or?
It'd be by the end of the week, Your Honor. I just have to prepare. And just for the record, I believe that Mr. Eckard did participate in those with the DNA testing, so I'm not sure why he wouldn't have received those records independently as well.
And obviously, I don't know either, but I did read in your motions that one of the results was lost in the mail, so I don't know how else that was conveyed to anyone.
So she knows all of the details here.
I don't know. So recognizing that it may be moot, yes, Mr. Woodnick?
You can help us. Smarter than the associate whispered in my ear. Jen requested
What?
To release the information. So if Your Honor would be inclined to, since Mother's obviously now cooperating, if Your Honor would be inclined to endorse or include language in there, I'm happy to shepherd it over to Rabj.
The moot. Yes, Mr. Woodnick?
If you can help us. Smarter than associate with right here. Jen requested to release the information. So if Your Honor would be inclined to, since Mother's obviously now cooperating, if Your Honor would be inclined to endorse or include language in there, I'm happy to shepherd it over to Rabjen, directing them produce all records related to any DNA tests taken by or with Mr. Eckard and or Ms. Owens past whatever 10 months, whatever it's been. That would be our request.
And Your Honor, for the record, I don't have an objection to that. I believe it would be an appropriate disclosure.
Okay, well, go ahead.
The other thing in our request.
So I think it was, instead of doing like a HIPAA request, just saying that I will provide you with templated language to put as an order for Ravgen to produce any and all.
Well, yeah, they weren't
DNA.
going to. They wouldn't release the records until they had an order from the judge. So they're going to. All they would tell them was over the phone.
Yeah.
That there was little to no fetal DNA, but they wouldn't give out the actual records unless they had an order from a judge. So now they have that. Okay.
Was we had wanted Mother to sign the requisite fetal death certificate, the verification, so we could get those records. I realize Mr. Heath can't testify, but is the position of Mother there will be no fetal death records because none were ever submitted? If that's the case, I'll let the issue go. I'll address it at the trial. But him testifying doesn't really cut it on that issue. If not, we need confirmation from the state of Arizona that there are no fetal death certificates.
And Your Honor, that is correct. And on that note, and I haven't addressed this with Mr. Woodnick, but I think it might be appropriate for us to amend our initial petition just for clarity at this point and to make sure that all parties are on the same page with what's being pled. So I would ask the court for leave to amend our position just so that we could make these points clear in anticipation, although I do believe the discovery and her deposition will probably do that to an extent. I believe it's appropriate for us to make that clear in the pleadings as well.
And what are those intended amendments, counsel?
Your Honor, the amendments would be just outlining the new circumstances. Obviously, her petition was filed predating any
The
sort of
new
miscarriage,
circumstances.
or likely even a lot of the care surrounding
The judge is like,
pregnancy.
no,
So
you're
we
not going to
need
be
make
amending
those,
anything.
Those things more clear. And also, Your Honor, I don't believe there were attorneys at the beginning of the case, so it would be to make sure that we're explicitly requesting attorney's fees as well.
So we want to fix all her pro se errors.
Yep.
Don't you think your motion to dismiss addressed that?
Your Honor,
There
I
it
think the
is.
motion to dismiss did address that in part, and it did request attorney's fees for the motion to dismiss. But if we're going to request it for the entire case, I believe amending the petition would be appropriate. I'll also note, I believe the respondent was just allowed to amend his petition a month or two prior. So I don't believe that it would prejudice anyone with us scheduling the trial out so far. I'd have no objection getting it done in a week. And if the court wants to consider our motion to dismiss a request for attorney's fees for the entirety of the case, I would be fine stipulating to that and saving the motion practice as well. And maybe Mr. Woodnick is stipulating to that.
She wants to make, if Your Honor wants to consider her claim for attorney's fees at trial.
Wait, stop this for a second. Stop this for a second.
Amending
What is happening? I was just scanning through Dave's video and look what I just came across.
Oh no. What?
Was he stream sniping us?
Oh no.
Goatee sharing just how crazy this story is.
Oh, wait, let's go back. Let's go back. Oh, no, it's not the spinny wheel of death. No, not now. No. Wait. I have it set down low. Come on.
Her a lovely assistant, IT Goatee, sharing. It goes on and on and on. Law Talk, well, talking and sharing the truth. The only people she's not involving legally is people like Law Talk with Mike and Megan Fox, those that actually know the law system. So it goes on and on and on. I actually had a clip I was going to share. Go check it out. We're running late on time. Megan Fox here and her a lovely assistant, IT Goatee, sharing just how crazy this story is. Again, they're great information. Of course, we've enjoyed the fact that we've got more expert knowledge coming in and exposing this. So anyway, we get into the text messages. So we talked about suing him for whatever contractual
text
breach.
messages?
We start to see these moments where she starts to share this all the way back on May 26th. The pre-cum on her dress isn't even dry yet. You know what
I'm sorry, folks.
Wow.
We don't know what's going to come out of Dave's mouth until it's already out. I know I had to slow the chat down. I'm sorry if it's going. You are a lovely assistant, by the way, IT Goatee. Thank you for being my
I do
lovely.
appreciate it.
Like Vanna White, only with a goatee. This is crazy. Now, somebody told me that Dave also reveals in this video somewhere that there is evidence that 3 out of 4 doctors have said they do not have records, any records. Now, what is this? Let's find out. If maybe it's this email. It's somebody told me it came from an email, so maybe it's this.
below? I am sure you did. And by public interest, different powerful men.
Okay, we're doing this on the fly here.
James Lawyer. Your client emailed me directly tonight below.
Boy.
I am sure you did not approve or even know about this, as it is so woefully inappropriate. Of course, I did not respond. And my question is this: is this grounds for Corey to just drop his client?
Okay, wait. So the email, now we know it went directly to Greg Woodnick. So it didn't go to Clayton. So she avoided violating a protective order by sending it to his attorney. But it was addressed
to him.
To Clayton. Okay. So she has avoided. Oh my God, this woman.
Number 2, this will be an exhibit at trial. You can also expect my client may release this to the media as exposing Jane's overt and nonsensical extortion. Does the world good, and nothing contained in her notice is private information.
Oh,
so
boy.
We are accusing her. I say we.
That's interesting. So Greg is basically saying she's done this bad thing, and my client's going to explode. He might, give it to the media because she needs to be exposed, and that's a good thing for the world and not a bad thing.
Clayton's side of overt and nonsensical extortion. Number 3, I have more witnesses stepping forward regarding your client's pattern of faking pregnancies and using this disturbing narrative to somehow extort relationships. Number 4, I trust you already saw that, and this is where it gets interesting, folks. This is where we have breaking news, breaking information. Don't read ahead. Don't read ahead. We'll get to it in due time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is breaking information we're getting right now on the spot. Brought to you now here on Dave Neal's Bachelor Nation News, Power Journalism. Number 4, I trust you already saw that 3 providers your client claimed were providing services have indicated they have no medical records for her in the system. Oh my gosh. Are you? What is
I knew it.
Going
I knew that's what we would
on?
find. I knew it. I knew
What
it.
is going on? I look forward to seeing you both on Friday, Greg. Adios mios.
Adios mios.
Are you? What is this?
Oh my
God. She said, is she lying to us? Well, she said those were her doctors and they proved the pregnancy. And now you mean to tell me on February 28th,
all right, chat, what is
2
going
days
on?
before the deposition?
Oh my God.
Chat, what's going on? What do you want my attention for? What? I already read the email. Why are you all saying I need to rewind back to her email? I read it. We read it. What?
It was there.
Why are you? What is wrong? What is going on? They want me to do something, and I'm trying to figure out what it is. Chat, I am looking. I am watching you. What is it that you need? Chat. This is like how I talk to my children when they're poking me and I'm on the phone, and I finally turn to them and say, "Okay, what is it? What is it that you need? What can I help you with?" I've listened to you say, "Mom, mom, 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 mom," 8,000 times. So what is it? No one's, now that I'm paying attention to you, no one has any explanation for me why I need to go back. Why do I need to go back? All right, fine. We're not going back because I already read it. Okay. 3 out of 4 doctors have no record of her as a patient. Well, what did I tell you? I told you that Higley and McCool, that's what we were going to hear. No medical records. And you know when I knew that for sure? When her own attorney said, we're going to have an expert come and testify to this court that it could have happened the way I just said it did. Not that it did happen to her, not we're putting her doctor on the stand to show you the sonograms and all of his reports on her, but that we're going to hire an expert to say that it might have happened the way we said it happened. Oh, come on. Come on. Stop acknowledging chat's bad behavior. Well, I was really concerned because you guys were acting like I had missed something big. So if I missed something big, obviously I want to know. But
don't make me pull this stream over, chat.
Do not make me pull the stream over because I will do it. I will do it. All right. Again, please make sure that you go give Dave a click on this hilarious video because I know I'm going to watch the entire thing in its entirety when I get off this stream. I'm dropping the link in the chats for there's YouTube, and now I'm going over to the Rumble Ghetto to make sure you guys get it too. How you doing over there, Rumble? Doing okay? All right. All right. Let's keep going with this hearing.
Fraternity petition, which was perjured, because I don't want to be precluded from addressing the perjurous statements.
You can't amend a perjured statement.
I'm not ignoring, and nor do I think I have to ignore what was signed and filed with this court originally and then repeatedly prior to us coming here today. And so I don't want to lose that opportunity because Mother all of a sudden realizes that stuff that she put in that petition was not truthful.
Okay. What we'll do is we'll treat the motion to dismiss as a request for attorney's fees and a motion to dismiss. Of course, I'm not minimizing that, but we will note in the minute entry, Lamar, that both sides are seeking attorney's fees and costs. And then the leave to amend based on the argument you presented today is denied. In the event you need leave to amend for some other reason that doesn't change the alleged facts that were presented back in August, then of course I'm not precluding you from filing a separate motion to amend. I'm just denying your request as it's given to me today.
Understood.
Deny, sit down.
I just want to be clear. My intentions are not to change any of the facts that were originally pled, just to expand on the facts that were originally pled. I just want to make sure I'm clear on that for the record.
I understand. All right, now with
I understand.
That is the most patronizing. I understand.
I understand, Corey. Go sit down. Here's your pats for being a good boy. Go sit down. I understand.
Oh, jeez.
Disclosure, since we're set out now in June and we've got the deposition March 1st, when's an appropriate disclosure deadline? I don't know how much. It sounds like everything maybe still needs to be done, but truthfully, this is not a complex case. It shouldn't take very long.
No, it shouldn't.
You're going to hit responses, so I guess I'll leave this one.
All right, pause for a second. Pause for a second. Locals is hard at work. It's Laura and the Tonsil Twins. That's funny. All right, we can go back to it now.
Take those separate responses and go to the list of doctors that she said. I'm concerned that that's going to take some time. If she's having the event release today,
yeah.
Do you have an inventory of what you can disclose now?
Okay. Okay, that's fine.
So wait a second. So I just thought of something.
Yeah.
Corey said we've got a batch of disclosure that we're going to give on Friday. But if Woodnick took the HIPAA documents to the 3 doctors' offices and they said they have no records, what was they actually going to provide?
Probably the same shit she's been providing the media from day one. How much you want to bet that it was just the same shit she's been already given to him that he said is not good enough? Like, we don't want your arts and crafts.
Yeah.
Oh man, locals. Oh God. Okay, we're almost done with this. Can we get through this?
Obviously, March 1st is a pivotal day. Why don't we we'll set the disclosure deadline 30 days, Lamar, 30 days before trial. And
Thank you
that
for the
is
Cash App,
any
Lois.
disclosure beyond that deadline will be precluded.
She sent
However, the
$5 for the
parties
moon
are
bump.
to complete initial disclosure no later than 45 days from today's date. So that gives you guys about 30 days after the depot. And then assuming that there may be additional depots that need to be done. Are there any questions about that schedule?
Oh, yeah.
Just my last comment, and appreciative of your time. Just so the court's aware, I have every intention of taking this HIPAA release, because I sent a bunch of them originally, because there's a bunch of doctors that you claim. I'm just going to reproduce it and repopulate it. Is that okay, great?
We want locals arts and crafts,
Right,
not
we'll have the
Laura's.
minutes reflect that Mr. Woodnick has been provided with a amended signed HIPAA release, and counsel agree that he may amend the provider.
And the date as well, Your Honor, because it requested the 19, and I'm worried that they won't accept it with me crossing off the date too.
Do you want me to sign it too? It might help.
I don't know how you want to do this, Judge.
Okay.
I'll
Right.
defer to you, Your Honor.
So that's fine. We'll just endorse who are
So briefly going over what they're just doing. She signed the HIPAA release, but then they had to change the date in order to, instead of 2018, it's going to August 1st of 2021. So they crossed it out, and then, but if I was a medical provider and I see that someone crossed out the date, I may be less inclined to want to take it as fact. So the judge is saying that she'll endorse it and say, Judge, presiding, this is a legal thing. Oh, God. Moon
Say
bump tug.
hello to the baddest mother tugger around, Tugs Twins. I can't even with you guys. I love you. Tug, by the way, is interviewing the Hales tonight. So make sure that you guys tune in for that at 6 p.m. He usually goes live at 6 p.m. Central. I will definitely be sharing out the link when I get it. But listen to Tug interviewing the Hales. That's going to be great. And they're going to have all sorts of new information, I'm sure, because of all the stuff that happened today. If I can stream later and read some of those documents, I will. But we'll see.
At the protective order hearing, mother listed 4 physicians that she claimed she was treating her current pregnancy for.
Okay, and I don't want to disclose those today in the hearing because I'm not sure who I have here virtually, but can the parties send a joint email to the court with the names of those doctors? And so that I have a record of it. We will not put it in the minute entry because that is public. We'll just have the minute entry reflect, Lamar, that the court will be provided with 4 additional providers.
I think it's 4. Don't hold me to that.
And Your Honor, I think it'll be more. Just to be clear, I believe it may have been 4 then, but we'll figure out the list.
All right, we'll just have the minute entry cross out 4 and put more than 1. All right. So we've discussed disclosure, we've discussed the deposition, we've discussed all the pending motions. Mr. Woodnick, since this was your motion, is there
The way a
anything
good
you
judge
feel
does.
that the court has failed to address?
I think today was very productive. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr.
Yes, I
Keith.
would say
Anything
so
the court's
too.
failed to address?
I agree, Your Honor. Thank you for the court.
Look at how she treats both lawyers
All right,
equally
everyone, we will.
with such a nice attitude and isn't getting screamy at anybody or interrupting anybody.
Right.
Boy, is she different from the grudge judge in Levy County. That Craig DeThomasis, man, that guy is something. And now, guys, I know those of you who are super into the Hales lawsuit, I know there's breaking news in that case, and I'm going to get to it as soon as I possibly can. There are new documents that I need to read. There's new filings. There's the judge's order denying their motion to disqualify him for the 3rd time. And I have those documents, and I'm going to read those documents as soon as I possibly can. But I'm a mom with 3 kids. I got a podcast I got to record right now, and I got stuff I got to, and
Lunch.
I got to write. I got to forget lunch. Who needs lunch? I gotta write an article about this new development in the Laura Owens case because this is outrageous. I'm gonna write an article about this. I got to get all of those things done. If I get all of those things done, article, podcast, kids taken care of with snacks when they get off the bus, I will come back and I will read the Hales, the new documents in the Hales case. Okay.
So if you are not, subscribe to meganfox.locals.com so that you can be up to date on everything that's going on. And when Megan takes a chat to work, writing her article and recording the podcast,
Yep,
then you can be abreast of everything going on.
that is correct. That is correct. And I don't know why you said abreast.
Phrasing.
Okay.
Because
anyway,
it is a proper term.
I'm just kidding. Okay. And also, locals, you got to follow me there because YouTube will not give you notifications when I go live 9 times out of 10. So if you want to know when the streams are coming, you need to get on locals. And you can follow me there for free. If you want to subscribe and get the content that is, subscriber only, you can do that for $5 a month. Use promo code Tonsil Twins, all caps, for a discount. What are you doing here? I'm trying to get off the air.
Holy crap.
I'm literally trying to get off the air. Holy crap is right. Okay, go ahead. Tell me what are your thoughts?
Oh, well, the attorney is obviously lying. And if he's not, he needs to have withdrawn yesterday.
But he can't withdraw. He can't withdraw now.
Well, no, because then she'll be pregnant with his twins before you know it. She's gonna have more babies.
We went to drinks after the hearing, and
exactly. Oh, well, I mean, the judge. I mean, he can try. The judge can just tell him, tough shit at this point. You're in too deep now.
She's had like 13 different attorneys. At some point, I truly believe that this judge is the one to say no to her. Like, that's it. You've had enough time. Yeah. Sorry, Court Keith, you're in now. In for a penny, in for a pound. You're in.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, there's just no way that if she had a miscarriage, she claimed in November she was 100% pregnant at 24 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes, oh, well, no, maybe she miscarried, 1 to 2 months before that. So just say 4 to 6, just say 6 weeks. Those are still pretty good sized fetuses at that point.
Yes. Yeah.
In twins, you're going to have lots of bleeding if you miscarried that. They're not just going to disappear.
I think we were talking over it when he said it, but Greg Woodnick in that hearing we just watched at one point says, for all we know, the fetuses could be buried on her horse farm. That's what he said that. I think I think we missed it, but because I watched it before we did this, but he said, for all we know, they could be buried on the horse farm somewhere. We need to know what happened.
They could. Exactly.
And that would be an illegal thing too, past 20 weeks.
Yeah, disposal of a corpse.
Well, even before 20 weeks is probably an illegal thing to do.
I don't actually. No, I think it's 20 weeks in Arizona. You have to have fetal death.
I know, but to dispose of human remains like that?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Whether you're 20 weeks or not. I mean,
if you're claiming personhood and require a fetal death certificate after 20 weeks, then that personhood would, in theory, transfer for disposing of human remains. I mean, I'm no lawyer, but that's the argument that
I'd say, if she's at 16 or 18, 19 weeks, I mean, those are formed pretty well at that point.
Well, yeah.
They're not just a blob of cells.
Right. No, you're talking second trimester, like Dr. Corcoran said, and he's an expert. You are not going to have a miscarriage in your second trimester and not know it.
Exactly. Yeah.
That doesn't happen. That just.
But what are his thoughts on the possibility of tonsil twins? Did he opine on that? Can it happen?
We haven't got him on that, but
we have not got him on the record.
I asked in chat a couple of times. I never saw him respond. I was like, "What's Dr. Joe's opinion on the likelihood of these happening?"
Probably avoiding the intricacies of that conversation. Oh Lord. Okay, I gotta go. I have to go.
Oh yeah, I tried to get it earlier. It's been crazy at the office today, so I was like, "Oh man."
Go check out MG Law. He's covering fun things over on his channel too. MG Law, no spaces. Please go and subscribe over there. What are you covering today? Anything good?
We're still going through the Alaska v. Brian Smith because I have to do it at night, so it takes a while. I'm starting day 7 tonight.
Awesome.
And I think there's only 9 days.
Awesome. That trial deserves more eyes on it because we're talking about murdered Indigenous women in Alaska and Brian Smith. It's a crazy case. It's a crazy case.
Yeah.
Go watch it with MG. It's fun.
Yeah, but I'm getting up close. I'm at like 996 in subs. I couldn't believe it. You have helped so much the last, like last week you dumped into me. I got like 50 subs the other night.
Oh,
And then
that's
just
so great.
yesterday in your chat, I picked up like another 20. I'm like, holy crap.
That's
So
I picked up 8.5 thousand subscribers in a day.
yeah, I mean,
because
you
of
had
this-
almost 10,000 people yesterday. It was crazy.
This Jeremy Hales story, MG,
Yeah.
you gotta start reporting on it.
Yeah, I need to read up on that one and get, because I came into that towards the end of that, a couple hours
Yeah.
into that stream. So
Get caught up. People, he has a huge audience and they want to know the legal ins and outs of this thing. They really want to hear lawyers talk about it. So, you can fill that for some people too. So get over there and do it.
yeah, that judge needs to go.
Oh my
He
God.
needs to
that
be gone.
judge.
And there, as I did put in chat earlier, there is a commission in for the Judicial Qualifications Commission in Florida that handles complaints of judicial misconduct.
Mm-hmm.
And individuals and others can file those complaints. So you can go to their website.
Except, wait a minute. Before you do that, I wouldn't do that just
I'm
yet.
not what I'm saying is I'm hoping that Hales and their attorney that they're looking into that.
Oh, right. Here's the thing is that I believe that that's probably coming from his attorneys. And once they do that, there might be an opportunity for the public who has witnessed some things to corroborate but we have to wait and see what they say. If they do it, then it has more weight, All right.
Well, certainly.
I am dropping MG Law's channel in the chat. Please go over there and subscribe, because I'm sure you could talk him into covering the Hales case as well, and then you would have another perspective to hear from this. And really, it is a crazy case, and this judge is behaving so badly.
Yeah, because didn't he already deny before? Like he tried to was this the one that tried to remove the attorneys or do something, and then the court slapped him down?
No, he didn't try to remove the attorneys. They tried to remove him. And he said no 3 times now. He has denied their motion to recuse the judge. And he's just over the top silly. All right.
But he's
I gotta
also
go.
ignoring that. Isn't there an Ohio protective order that he's ignoring?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which
All right.
full
Now at
faith and credit would require him to honor.
1,020 subs.
You're over 1,000,
Holy shit.
MG.
Costs. Wow. Megan, you're the best.
Aw, well,
For
that's
medium
what we're all
smart
here to
journalist,
do.
you're pretty awesome.
Thank you so much. All right, I'm out of here, guys. Find me on meganfox.locals.com. I'll be coming up with a live stream to record my a Fox Den Daily podcast soon. So get over there, meganfox.locals.com. See you later.
Awesome. See ya.
Lost, my world is near its end. I almost felt my head is full of a million choices. I am alive, I'm not here to pretend. I love my friends, my heart is filled with a million voices. Oh, this road has many choices. Oh, and my heart, million voices. Come next to me, my friend, embrace the sky. I'm not afraid to fly. It's not the time to say goodbye. Say goodbye. No, I don't wanna No, I don't wanna say goodbye. This time I know my road is near its end. I almost felt my head is full of a million choices. I am alive, I'm not here to pretend. I love my friends, my heart is filled with a million voices. Oh, this road has many choices. voices. Come next to me, my friend, embrace the sky. I'm not afraid to fly. It's not the time to say goodbye. I don't wanna say goodbye. No, I don't wanna stay. No, I don't wanna say goodbye.
So I take it that
Johnny's
you've seen
problem is he
Cameron
should have
John's
come
bedroom
storming
before.
in there with
Yeah.
a string of
Do you
garlic
recall what
and
he
some
went
holy
into
water.
Mr. Debson
And a
as
cross,
far as
a
bedroom
crucifix.
went?
May the
Do you
power of
recall,
Christ
or no, you
compel you.
No, I don't.
He
So
realized
Miss
his house
Hubbard,
was infested with
just up for
succubuses.
that,
And
there's a picture here with you of what it, yes. Do you recall what that was there when you arrived in the afternoon? I don't remember seeing it now. So while she
No wonder he said drown her before you burn her.
Oh my god.
You-
Your next witness?
Now I know
Witness
why
for
he wanted to drown her.
Glacis, and that
Next
is
witness
also
lives in
by
Romania.
video.
Is that correct?
That begins with Miss Van-